want them to play not just the Symmetra style, but one that really ups the pace and the tempo, and they're going to open with a Busan. This is a fantastic map for Symmetra.
Yeah, this is an awesome pick here for TM early on. So we'll see how it works out here with the sim in place. So UB in the lineup, and we don't get a sim ban.
We'll see. Sim coming through. I mean, TM are going to ban the Venture out. They're going to go all in on this first map. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? The Venture ban. I don't think it's unbeatable in the Sim matchup, but you wanted to ban a DPS here. Protects the Symmetra. Come out hot. The Lucio ban responsibly from T1 is going to take a bit of the legs out from under the composition for Twisted Minds. I wonder what they're going to do with the support lineup, because it's a little bit less obvious what direction you're going to go now to support the Symmetra. Could be something like a Judo Brig. I mean, we saw that from
That's possible.
Yesterday.
Yeah, we've also seen TM go to like the Wuyang at times during EMEA. So
Funny Astro, so nice on the Wuyang. I mean, for years, guys known as a Lucio player, and he has shown he has that deathmatch ability on a much greedier support.
And I think the Venture ban is pretty huge, right? So getting that out of the way, especially when you have UB in, you really want to commit to playing those sim comps. You don't really want to kind of, if you were going to go and play some Tracer or even Echo, you would most certainly have Psycho.
You'd probably bring Psycho, yeah. And then Busan. I mean, this is one of the better maps for the Symmetra to really play. It's also a good map for a lot of these highly mobile tanks, but it's Jasmine in the lineup, so you're a little bit more committed on the off tank. I wonder what's going to be the look for T1. I mean, for Twisted Minds, it's a bit more obvious. I don't think this is going to be a shock to anybody. But this is T1's chance to play a bit of a surprise, because the weakness of being a sim team is other teams have time to prep. They think about it. They plan their attack. They're going to, show their best look. And right now, T1 are hovering a bit of a mirror. I wonder if Zest is going to keep this.
A Sigma comp here for T1.
Is he keeping it? He's keeping it. He would not still be on it if he wasn't keeping it.
Yeah, a much different look. So we haven't really seen Sigma at all throughout this event. We really kind of seen him fall out of the meta, even at home, with EMEA and A, seeing in that competition. So curious with maybe some of the sight lines, they believe the Sig could be valuable.
Sig can get beamed down pretty hard. He's going to be very squishy in this comp. But T1, with the Stim Mirror of their own, they back off with the first DP, buying a bit of space, buying a bit of time to work. The poke should be a bit better for T1. But if TM get on top of you, you're going to be in real trouble. Now skewed in the sights. Quartz would love to be able to take a head off early, but T1 kiting back into the spawn, playing this incredibly well, and the flank comes in, punishes Twisted Minds, who get kind of caught lacking here, surrounded and beat down by T1 after the point flip. So this is basically the ideal first fight for T1.
Yeah, and a great start for Proud. He ends up getting 3 during that. And, you see Twisted Minds constantly using some of those TPs to actually try and collapse on some of the members of T1. And they just were never able to find anybody in this Sigma, able to kind of soak up some of the damage, kind of get out of the way and poke constantly. He's going to have TDNT switching over to the D.Va.
Torqued up, Yubi could be looking to get active, doesn't have the TP just yet. And for now, T1's mirrored sim comp, this looks really well prepared. I mean, I do think they have the poke advantage. Twisted Mind's going to feel very forced, very anxious to find kills. If they can't get them quickly, T1 are going to start to pick them apart. And so far, so good for your Korean squad here, looking well practiced. It's actually TM who feel a little bit lost, forced into a bit of a desperation rush. Rushes are traded now, but Proud with the OC should give them the huge edge. Jasmine finds yet more, just feasting on this Sigma.
I mean, I did not expect this early on. Is T1, they've come out with this Sigma and Sim. Looks like we do have a pause, and it looks like it's thrown TM a little bit of for a ride here, where they're not really too sure, right? Going over the D.Va, you're able to get kind of hit with those accretions pretty easily there from the Sigma. So it looks like maybe a pause on the TM side of things, as both teams ended up using their rushes in the previous fight, and comes out with T1 still on top, a little bit above 50% on the point. So I don't think you could have asked for a better start.
Very solid round. I'm curious to see what direction they go from here. Thinking back to some of the EMEA matches earlier in the stage, it's actually Virtus Pro played a similar Sigma style in an attempt to deal with Alcadzia. And Alcadzia actually pulled out the Mei Sim. That was their answer. To catch the Sigma, get on top of him, have another hero who can put damage down through the kinetic grasp and further assist into catching some of these targets. I think that'd be the right answer, but the question is, can Quartz pilot the Mei? Is that something they're going to be able to find under this kind of a pressure in the match scenario?
I don't think you can take Quartz off of hit scan.
I think you have to. I mean, Sigma is actually a very potent counter to hit scan heroes. It's very hard to get damage in on hit scan. Sigma will just kill you if you step up for too long, right? He has incredible poke back on the hit scan. He's a huge threat to hit scan heroes.
It is a really interesting wrinkle throwing in with the Sigma, right?
To take the sim mirror is actually, pretty interesting. Not many Korean squads have done that.
No.
But for T1, if they can actually hang in the sim mirror, it really takes some of this edge and some of the fear that Twisted Minds team might strike into to another opponent, takes that out of this match.
Well, and I also wonder if this is a comp that's kind of been cooked up with the Venture ban that comes on through, right? Like, could we have seen them play? Because we've seen teams play like whether it be like Maga with a Venture in the past, then we've seen some teams play even Sigma with that Venture. So, like, potentially something along those lines. But yeah, this is a really nice shout here from T1 early on that I think has definitely caught TM, kind of our overall pick on the desk here. Caught them off guard here early on.
I think T1 have the answer. I think this is a winning comp for them. We'll see, though, if it's going to last beyond Mecha Base. Mecha Base is a map, right, with those circular high grounds around the point. You can kind of just run laps on your opponent, fall back forever, and eventually, when the opponent runs out of gas, you find your chance to pounce. However, some of the other maps, it's going to be a little bit easier for something like a Ramatra to kind of cut those corners and get on top of a backline, force the fight to be a little bit quicker. And Sigma does need that kind of time to work. He's not a hero who wants to get down and dirty right away at the start of the fight. He wants to poke and prod and find that damage, but Jasmine has been sharp. A lot of appearances in the kill feed. So, I mean, if the Sigma can continue to get those big connections and hit all those shots, Jasmine starting to look like kind of a centerpiece for T1.
Yeah, and I wonder, obviously you're going to the Diva here now for Twisted Minds. See maybe if you can actually kind of get past, that Sigma shield as we take a look in the feed. This is a fight that's pretty much done here already. So 61% on the points here, high ground control for T1.
Jasmine on respawn. He's not going to be here to hold the choke, which is actually pretty important for Twisted Minds. They're going to be able to step up through that choke and get a little bit of map position early.
And Quartz has got nothing done. Like you alluded to, Sigma great against the hit scan. He has had nothing that's gone right here, as Proud has been really good early on.
Jasmine has to be the tip of the spear here. He's playing so carefully, so cautiously, doesn't want to give anything up. TM setting up for their rush. They know this is going to be the final fight. They've got to dodge this flush. It's so crucial. TVNT almost going down. Tries to trade with Zest, but actually can't get it. Zest drops the mech and just flips out of there. Very nice Symmetra play here out of the European. We'll see, though, can this Korean squad close out the game? For now, Proud finds one, and that's TVNT out of the suit, out of the game, and this one looks over before it's even really gotten going. Yeah, you get the flip, but it doesn't seem to matter much. No. Idle Blast and the fully torched Symmetra, not the point, not the battle route that you want to be taking on point.
No, it's just the orbital ray that extends that fight a little bit longer than it probably should have, where that is something we did not really expect, where TM dominates Twisted Minds early on.
Yeah, T1, all right, okay. And mirroring the sim, I actually think maybe this is the right answer. Maybe it's an answer that not enough teams have been willing to take, right? To actually go toe-to-toe, to dance on the Symmetra, to take out some of that edge. I think this sim, I mean, I've been saying it for a long time. I think sim's a bit meta. I think people need to put some respect on how significant this hero is, this innovative playstyle around the ability to teleport your entire team. You can completely back out, kite out of key ultimate fights, and by the same token, you can absolutely dive in, swarm over an enemy backline. So there's so much threat in team play that this Symmetra is kind of like a DPS Lucio. It has pretty crazy potential as we go to our second round of Busan, and T1 just say, hey, let it ride. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No, and we also get to see how teams kind of from the APAC region, specifically Korea, try and adjust this sim type of style to maybe even something that the EMEA teams haven't messed with, right? Where you come in here with this Sigma, you obviously have some strong hit scan with Proud, and then you're playing this Kiri Wooyoung backline, which is very strong, and you just have a lot of poke.
The huge tempo shift, though, off the mid fight. I mean, Twisted Minds really took it to T1. T1 trying to get back into it now. But stepping up on the point, the kite is going to be a little bit more difficult from this position. Zest has the TP. He's going to come up to the high ground, take a bit of a trade. But Twisted Minds getting the opportunity now to reset, opportunity to re-engage with their cooldowns. T1, they get the cap, but they're here on the low ground. See how they fight their way out of this. The wave from the Wooyoung keeps people stabilized for now, and TM get their first connection. Quartz, the Disruptor Shot on point, both Sims out of the fight.
Yeah, but you're actually going to end up, you lose Yubi here for TM, so you're going to lose some of that maneuverability, and it's going to be really difficult to dislodge all this Sigma. As you see, they're able to just kind of play behind Skewed and Jasmine here in this right-hand side. Forts has to drop down. He ends up falling, but then TVNT gets right in there, takes out Skewed. But I think you're also going to have the Kiri back, so Vigilante back here for T1, so you still have some healing.
Once again, the Symmetra is traded out, dropped, but I think the numbers are starting to edge towards Twisted Minds. Position a little bit awkward for Jasmine. Using a lot of skills, staying alive, doesn't want to give up this flip. They're using the rush to double down on him. Wu Yang ult as well with the Tidal Blast. Kiri diving in, Vigilante 2 taps Forts. Proud back in with the OC, and somehow, some way, T1 crawl back into this, clutching it out and holding on to the point.
And the fight gets drawn out for so long, it was never contested or flipped for Twisted Minds. So this is all percentage for T1. So it's like the first fight of the round here in round number 2 on Busan. And we're already at like 60%, right? You know, with how long these fights may go, Twisted Minds in a great spot, right? With a lot of ultimates coming on in. So could be able to flip it, but still it could be a pretty lopsided map. It's
okay, they open with the flip though.
Yeah, and they get it for free.
Yeah, getting it for free. Now they drop the rush. They need to win this fight though without Funny Astro. Incredible pressure now on Simple to keep the team alive. Quartz pops the OC, has to stand and deliver, teleporting around the map. But a beautiful wall from Zest completely isolates the point, creates an opportunity. Quartz has found a way through, shields in his face, he's not able to get these connections, gets cut down this time by Skewed. T1, big ultimate over the top. The flux is good, slams down Yubi, and that could be the round. I mean, clock ticking up, TVNT gonna resuit, but the flip has gone in, the damage is done.
You know, TVNT is able to make it out with his mech. They do kill Zest, but he'll be back in the fight rather quickly. And yeah, I feel like the damage is done, right? Twisted Minds has so many ultimates. They end up getting the point for free, but they end up losing Funny Astro early when that Kitsune Rush is going, and now you lose Yubi on the comeback.
The focus fire onto Yubi has been immense. T1 absolutely punishing the Symmetra from Twisted Minds, and this is going to be an open and shut 2-0 off the back of some incredible Sigma performance by Jasmine. I mean, I was saying coming into this, are they going to be struggling without Donghak? Do they rely on the main tanks? They dropped a map to Team CC. Here they come in and take a map off one of the tournament favorites in Twisted Minds. This is a statement for T1.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the more surprising results in terms of a map that we've had here in Stockholm, because like Twisted Minds, we were talking about how good they looked on the sim and tournaments leading up to this. Obviously, they get the better of Alcatia in the EMEA Stage 3. Team CC took TM to a Game 3 yesterday. Everything was aligning to look pretty dominant for Twisted Minds, but a really nice comp there for T1 early on, and Twisted Minds had nothing for it.
And I gotta say, Matt, I mean, we say, hey, you don't need a coach. You're doing just fine. You just win in everything. And then you get clapped with a comp that, frankly, I think you're comp gapped right there. Who's got the answers? It wasn't anybody in the server. And so now, I mean, this is the real test for Twisted Minds, right? You get beaten down with really a better comp answer, and one that is potentially deadly for the series, right? Because if you're able to win with the Sim Mirror, now you don't need to ban Sim anymore. Now you're taking that heads-up matchup, and this is going to really flip the strategy on its head. I don't think Twisted Minds are ready for this. They're going to have to adapt mid-series and find an answer with very little time to react.
Yeah, it's, you know, everybody obviously had a terrible game there for Twisted Minds. Just an absolute blowout. But, you know, if you look at T1, right? I mean, Jasmine played phenomenal. Zest, like we were talking about how good the Venture was from Zest, where Zest actually comes in and plays the sim here with the Venture gone. And I mean, he looked awesome playing the sim. It is something that T1 can most certainly keep going. Like, they're not really forced into this type of like Venture maybe counter. It also like raises the question, like, does TM even need to ban the sim in this series? Like,
why would they?
Maybe they're okay taking this mirror and trying to play something like this throughout a different map. So it'll be a TM map selection, though, here coming up.
I wouldn't be shocked to see a Sigma ban. Honestly, I think this Sigma is actually a huge issue. I mean, genuinely, I think back to we've seen a matchup like this before in the EMEA. It was Virtus Pro playing the Sigma. It was Bistola piloting and kind of dominating Alcatia, who were like struggling to find the answer. The Mason did it for them, but I mean, Quartz, as good as he is on the hit scan, have you ever seen Quartz flex? Like, truly, I
not really.
Really plays only hit scan. There's not so many hit scan players left at the highest level who are really like committed to the role. Think about players like Lip or Tree, who, yeah, they're insane hit scan players, but they're also monsters on the flex DPS. Quartz hasn't really been put in that position before, to my knowledge.
No, not really. I mean, we've seen him play like Tracer in the past and things like that, but never like we were discussing, like you're not going to see him go play May.
Would be pretty wild, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to see him play May or anything along those lines. Like, in that scenario, you would actually probably be ditching the sim, right? And you would be bringing in Psycho to play like a May, some type of comps that we saw, like whether it be Team CC or some other teams have played. Peps played it against, I believe it was SSG. They played like a May with a hit scan on New Junk City. So you wouldn't expect it out of TM, especially like if Yubi's in the game, right? If Yubi's in the game, they are gonna play the sim.
And I think with Yubi in, I mean, now this is that test for Twisted Minds, right? This is the challenge, or in theory is your weakness as a team without a coach, is who's gonna find those adaptations in mid-series when you're caught a little bit unawares. And I think it's fair to say that they're a bit caught off guard by the way this went. I mean, I didn't think T1 would be a team who would take that sim mirror. I thought for sure they would try to find a counter. Like yesterday, they played a ton of Venture. I thought that's where they'd go. I think TM likely had the same perception. And I mean, they're going to take us to King's Row.
It's the most TM map pick ever.
It is.
I mean, this is EMEA.
It's also a map where the Sigma, I don't think it's going to work as well, right? There's a lot of low ground. There's a lot of places to get caught and just like rushed on a corner, not so much open space to poke. And so maybe a place where T1 won't be so confident in a sim mirror.
Yeah, but also an opportunity where maybe this is not a map where TM has to ban a Sigma, right? If that's like kind of what.
True.
It's just map one, right?
So we don't know flexibility. Yeah,
we don't know if TM wants to kind of commit to something like that for further in the series. But let's say they did. You have a little bit more flexibility in terms of what you decide to ban here, right? So the Venture already off the table here. So it'll be the King's Row map pick, and it'll actually be, okay, so T1 decides to throw the sim ban in here.
And TM ban Lucio. I mean, I guess that's not completely crazy. You know, you've got a guy like Funny Astro who, while he is one of the best Lucios in the world, he's also just like that good on the Wu Yang and on, some of these a little bit greedier options. So maybe this changes the game, and this allows somebody like TVNT on the Diva. You take the Lucio out of the equation, and the supports become a lot easier to catch and punish. And I think TVNT, that's where he seems at his most comfortable, playing super aggressive, diving in, and still Twisted Minds in high spirits. They haven't lost the wind in their sails after that map loss, and I think that's actually crucial for a team like this, right? If you don't have a coach, you don't have somebody else coming in from outside to boost those spirits, you got to have the players within.
Yeah, you got to have a good vibe.
Yeah, being willing to take an L on the chin and come back stronger and come back into the next map with a real ferocity. And I hope that's what we get out of Twisted Minds, as I think we might be in for a long series.
Yeah, we've also seen like Funny Astro end up playing some Juno as well.
Yeah.
I think we saw a little bit of it in that map. So maybe we actually see them go to play some Juno comps. But yeah, the Wu Yang Kiri, obviously a great look potentially for Twisted Minds, right? I know we talk about Simple being one of the more entertaining support players in EMEA. And then Funny Astro has been awesome on the Wu Yang since its inclusion into Overwatch Esports. So two players to look out for there for Twisted Minds. But we did also highlight pregame is like, Proud needs to step up to kind of match Quartz. Most certainly matched, by far matched them and passed them there in the first
I felt
map.
it on downtown, right? When, Quartz went for a slide in and Proud just swings wide, stands tall in the open, and just stands and delivers with that rail. I mean, we talked about Quartz being able to take over a map and just win the game outright for his team. This would be the moment to do it, right? This would be the moment to stifle T1's momentum here, end it at that first map, and start to turn things around.
It also feels like such a pivotal map, right?
Yeah, this is the most potent. Map 2 is really the most potent map of the series, right? For either team. Whoever comes into map 2 with map pick, you have the full slate of maps to choose from. I mean, you already play Control, but everything else is open. You take us exactly where you want. You control the ban phase.
And just from a momentum, right? Like, you cannot, it's so hard to reverse sweep. I mean, we see some, but things have to go so right, especially against a team like T1, let's say, right? You're going to 3 of their map selections in 3 of their bans first, and you have to win each and every single one. You just cannot afford to put yourself in that hole here. If you are Twisted Minds, a must-win map for them coming up.
I see. Okay, this makes a lot more sense to me.
Okay. So to
take the Kiriko away.
Yeah,
I mean, I think this is a bit more comfortable for a team like TM, and especially because you take the sim away. if you also take away Lucio, it feels like you almost can't play Rush. Like, those are the two mobility heroes in the game. Like, you can do it with Juno, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
Funny Astro probably would not have looked as happy as he is on the TM sideline there, you know, getting ready to play with the Lucio gone that his team decided to get rid of.
I want to see what Simple's got here, because Simple has been a key performer for Twisted Minds all year long from the support line. One of, I think, the best flex support in Europe, if not, you know, maybe one of the best in the world, kind of bursting onto the scene and really making his name here with this Twisted Mind squad. With Kiriko off the table, that's been one of his best. And so what's he going to bring out next? Is it something like a Batiste? Is it, I mean, is it like an Ana? I mean, that would be almost crazy, because this is Twisted Minds we're talking about. They don't tend to play too much dive.
Right, you're like, oh, Ana Brig, like, but no, I don't think they're going to play something along those lines.
It would be a little wild, right? Just because we don't know that we've seen a look like that from them, at least not often.
I mean, I think when Wuyong first started, there were some regions like experimenting with like Wuyong Baptiste, like some type of setup like that. Like, so we'll see what Twisted Minds has in store here for Kings Row. Like feels like a must-win map for them, as T1 they swing first, taking map number 1 in pretty dominant fashion. I don't think anybody expected that.
And for Twisted Minds fans, I mean, a lot of question marks now. What's going to come out on this second map of Kings Row? I mean, this is where your prep comes in. Look, every team's going to come into this tournament with like the preferred map pick, like your map 2 map pick. When we have full control of the series, where do we want to go? For Twisted Minds, it is Kings Row.
So Sig again for T1. We talked a little bit about the Venture ban. Maybe Zest would have went to that. That looks to certainly be it. And then I was just talking about how the Wuyong Baptiste is something that's been kind of thrown around a little bit.
This is a devious amount of poke.
Yes.
This is disgusting level of pressure on Twisted Minds on the walk-up, and at the same time, you're going to have a Venture constantly harassing you, playing angles, making space. So this is a far from assured attack for Twisted Minds. Well, UV steps over to the Mei. It's going to be a classic rush style for them.
All right, so they ditched the Sim. I was going to say, Sig is very difficult to dislodge with the Immortality Field in the mix as well, right? And not a hero that's just going to kind of wilt under the pressure. Is that Ice Block already out? Is Quartz will end up playing Cassidy here, so just trying to find an off angle.
I'm worried for TM here. Like, what are TM going to do? Are they going high ground? Are they going to just touch point? I mean, this is a Venture we're talking about. Venture can just hold down the point for 10 seconds, no problem. With this level of poke coming in from all sides, we're seeing TVNT step up onto the point, blocking, staying alive for now, but this block's about to run out. Hasn't earned a tick just yet. Well, yeah, Zest, he still has the dig.
Yeah, and typically you would try and bully teams out from the high ground, right? As Twisted Minds are trying to put some pressure on a Jasmine. They get him walled off, but not able to finish him off. That's going to be 1 tick already. They're trying to put some pressure on this high ground because you want to dislodge Proud from this position. It's just the Sig is so hard to get out of the way.
And, I mean, it's just Ram versus Venture dueling on the point, running this clock down, but Quartz strikes, finds Skewed, and that's going to be a crucial kill. Losing one of the healers. These poke comps do not do well when they drop numbers, especially not when it's both of your supports. Now Quartz holding the choke, denying anyone from a forward touch, and they're going to get the job done. So TVNT puts the pressure on point, and it's a bit of a hammer and anvil. Quartz takes the flank, strikes blood, and, I mean, Quartz is Cassidy. Talked about him taking over games. Maybe this is it here on Kings.
Yes, you still have Zest up on the high ground. I like this move here from T1. They called him out.
What a
they
rotate.
Exactly,
honestly, what a read.
You get there
from TM.
That's a fast, getting, like, you have to be pretty sure
they
he's
knew
up.
that was happening. Yeah, they knew that. They read the play perfectly. They speed amped him all the way. And Zest just wasn't ready for a timing at that pace. The team wasn't there. Now Card's going to be free rolling for a long time. As you see TM taking a forward position, even opening the window, very aggressive from Simple.
Yeah, that is very aggressive and early, right? You don't even have some players kind of moving.
High noon as well.
Deadeye.
Whoa, okay. Yeah, a little too much.
All right. So it looks like they really value that space and position, and they try to invest to get it, and it does not work out.
Yeah, they're trying to just keep the enemy team suppressed, but remember, you're fighting without a Lucio in that spot. Now, Zest comes in for more. Proud with his third in the fight. And just kind of eating Twisted Minds alive there. But, I mean, they do a lot of time on the clock, a lot of time to work with here on this second point.
And you also here for Team 1, though, I really like this kind of comp where now you can have the bubbles here. They're to bubble Zest, get aggressive. You see when Zest kind of pops up out of the burrow, and even when Twisted Minds is around, there's a dynamite there from Proud, taking damage down on everybody. It's a lot to have to try and heal and fight through.
Oh, The hinder is good onto Zest once again, shutting down this Venture, and the Blizzard gets a connection on the back line. You have to use a defensive bubble to get your support out of that, but it's too little, too late. The Wu Yang Tidal Blast comes in on the Zarya, but she just doesn't have a way to close the gap. She's trying to get out with her energy, stay alive for the next fight, but TM don't want to let that happen. Here comes TVNT, pummeling in over the top. But Zarya getting the sustain from the squad. The rest of the team elects to back off for now, so Jasmine lives with the energy, takes the high ground with that perk, and has a Graviton Surge to work with in this next fight.
Yeah, and it was a really nice boot from Funny Astro to kind of get Jasmine out of the way when the Tidal Blast came through. This high ground setup, though, going to be pretty difficult to break. That's another Amp Matrix here, thrown in from an off angle, so it's going to force Jasmine inside. It's going to allow Twisted Minds to get a little bit more cart push.
This is why you use the Venture, though. You can just hold on to the cart, deny this objective progress while you wait out the ultimates. It is coming into the final fight. Zest caught by that Ravenous Vortex, stuck on the ground. Beat used from Funny Astro, only connects on a few players, and is living through this tech shock, but that's a trade you'll take any day of the week for T1.
Well, because it's a bomb and the Tectonic Shock there, and you get the beat out on the other side. So, and because you have a grab coming up, I feel like that's a fight win there. Potentially.
Oh, this could be a big grab. He's thinking about it. May uses Ice Block. Any squishies who step up are absolutely going to get grabbed here. And they're too scared to commit to a fight, and in doing so, Proud just cuts down Quartz and Simple to boot. Here comes the Ram ult, but Jasmine is not backing down by any stretch of the imagination, has immense healing resources here, and I mean, Proud has been king of this series so far, just absolutely dominating when it comes to that overall hit scan duel.
And to me, it looked like they're that Twisted Minds. Obviously, they know that the grab is online for Jasmine. They're trying to like force it out anyway, right? Maybe they thought that TVNT popping that Annihilation would get them to use the grab. But great awareness from T1. They know that nobody really was at harm from that Annihilation. They were going to live through that regardless. They didn't need to invest the grab, and now you have it here for this next fight. And potentially you can get this under a minute.
And just the threat of the grab, right? It's really not letting TM play the game they want to play. This is a rush comp. You want to be stacked up, but if you get all your squishies grabbed, I mean, the fight is just instantly over. Jasmine using this perk to great effect. Zarya historically hasn't been that great on King's Row, but being able to come up and down to the high ground is beautiful here. Quartz opens the High Noon up here, creating a bit of space and time. Venture's beautifully able to hold on to the cart for now. Comes into the backline, gets the Tidal Blast as well, trying to get in, stay on top of these backline supports, gets a big stun onto Simple. Funny Astro already hits the deck. The reload just barely enough, and Zest gets the cleanup kill. And that is only the Tidal Blast. Once again, Jasmine holds the ult. He's not letting them group up. He's holding on to this thread for the final fight.
Yeah, I mean, the support play from T1 there was incredible, right? You get the Tidal Blast onto Zest, allow him to go in on the Venture, and then as soon as that pops and then he gets low, he's in the mix. It's a long-range Immortality field there from Vigilantes. Proud here.
Oh, okay, he got scared off. I mean, Twisted Minds wisely walked high ground there, threatened the rotate. If you don't see Proud here, a Dynamite from behind into a Bob, this could be a devastating backline flank from this Ashe. Playing this to Immaculate Perfection here, but May scouts it out. Good read from Yubi. Proud still looking to get active. The headshot instant onto Simple. Cuts him down. Zest does drop for that one. Had to pull a lot of pressure. Nail on the point, creating a bit of space and time. Grab comes in. You absolutely must beat for Funny Astro, but it's just not enough. The damage comes through. T1 standing tall, the whole squad alive, and Twisted Minds sent packing. I don't think they're going to get a single meter more. Simple walking back with the Matrix, but no chance to touch. And this is T1 holding on second point.
Yeah, and you know, it wasn't a great first point defense from T1, but as soon as they got into that Streets phase, they were able to take control of that high ground. Some fantastic Venture play yet again from Zest, picking up where he left off from the Team CC series. And it was very difficult for TM to get anything going. And I also think you see, like, they're trying the May here, but it looks way more vulnerable than them trying to play like a sim comp, right? Or, you know, even some of the other things we've seen from them in the past.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Coach gap. Bit of a coach gap.
I mean, there is no coach on the
Well, that's what I'm saying. Look at the prep from T1. Like, this is a strategy that is not easy to execute. And for T1 to come in and look, I mean, this is a style that is like exactly designed for this Symmetra. This is not a like nothing that we've seen out of T1 so far in this series is a normal comp, something they
would never play this against anybody else.
No, this is something designed for Twisted Minds, designed to answer the rush comp, relying on, you know, a very well-practiced procedure. And so far it's working. And I mean, usually, right, something like Quartz on this Cassidy is just going to find the holes in these comps, you know, find the picks, cut them to pieces. But the execution has been very clean. And for T1, Proud, just dominating on the Ashe.
And we were talking about it. Obviously, they look much more vulnerable without the sim. The sim ban here, so you have to play. What are you're gonna play Mei? Like, you're not gonna have Yubi play like Trace or Echo. You'd have Psycho in, right? So you're really committed to this Mei comp and making it work.
Yeah, they're gonna run it again on this defense. See if it's enough. T1 go with something a little bit more standard, but once again, the range advantage for the hit scan. Proud is gonna have a little bit of space to work with. However, TM, the defense is gonna be a much more comfortable proposition for this Mei. She kind of set the tone of her engagement. Looking to trade a bit of snipes, but Proud, not somebody you want to tangle with in long range.
No, and Yubi, it feels like just kind of poking his head out, asking for it as Yubi gets quite low already. It's going to be funny Astro coming there to help him, but that's going to unlock this high ground for Proud, and now it's going to be a free firing range for him over the point.
And Venture, not scared to take the fight here into this room. Course comes to tangle here. A lot of resources coming into the fight here. But I think this is pretty good. Oh, and the wall baited out for Zest. He can still continue to get active in the space, slowly constricting around Twisted Minds, but it's Quartz, the hero in the team's moment of need, takes down Proud, denies this key flanker. And now, opportunity for TM to clean out the map. The clock ran down quite a bit in that first fight, and it ends up being a costly one with no reward for T1.
Yeah, you're going to lose Feud here as he's trying to exit. So a fantastic hold from Twisted Minds here early on, and it kind of all starts with Quartz, right?
They're going. They're still going.
They want to get this Zarya. They want to get the energy.
This crazy active to be pushing in like that. And they end up forcing a few Ram CDs to end the fight. T1 wasting no time. Window pop, trying to defend this for Simple. The counter damage is good, shuts down Zest. And I think T1 are going to have to regroup out of this play. Quartz behind the AM Matrix. I don't want to be on the other side of that one.
Are you that upset now, though? If you're T1, obviously you've had some time to dwindle off the clock, right? But you get the Amp Matrix out there. Now you come back. You come back with like double support ults, right? Like, could you get Proud set up, with a high ground advantage potentially, like with this Amp Matrix? Like, that would be pretty devastating. It would at least buy you some space to get the Zarya in position.
Oh, big flank here. He's thinking about matrixing. Wants to find the opportunity for it. Pops it wide into the choke point. Jasmine going very deep. TVNT cuts the aggression at its midpoint. Coming in, swarming through this T1 group. T1 beat comes down, but Jasmine's already out of this fight. And so Twisted Minds have navigated this one incredibly. The Mei does drop to Bob, but Quartz finding Zest should stabilize things for the moment. T1 trying to stay scrappy, trying to stay around on this map. They want to play fast. Zest should be back much more quickly than UB's Mei, and it's just Quartz and the High Noon to hold on for TM.
Yeah, you have TVNT here, though. I feel like he knows that he's going to step up and there's going to be a grab in the mix, right? They're trying to just put him isolated onto the point as Quartz buys himself some space here with the Deadeye, trying to get into the hotel.
And for now, TVNT holding strong. Here comes the tech shock from Zest. Puts a bit of damage onto the backline now. Swarms in onto this Baptiste. The drone kept alive for just a moment longer, but Vigilante clears it for Zest, allowing him to get that kill. Now, the Mayo, the Blizzard comes down, but Zest is in the backline, and so is Jasmine. Quartz forced into a wide flank, needs to clear off some of these high ground players. Headshot is good, but it's not good enough. The heals are there. Vigilante, who has to pop a defensive drone, but it's all Zest in the feed, cleaning house with Proud. And so T1 are going to get this cart rolling, but I think Twisted Minds have done enough to make this a competitive map.
Yeah, they dwindle enough clock. Yubi was thinking about going back for a touch, maybe thought it was still worth it, but goes back and will play Mei. So Twisted Minds, I think, Jake, though, with that kind of hold, they gives themselves a chance, right? Because the Ram and the Mei is going to be pretty good here near the choke. But let's do a listen in here with T1, see if they can break this defense from Twisted Minds.
야 윈도우 잡 윈도우
확인. 파티 누워있어 얘네 파티 누워있어.
뭐라고 너?
야 윈도우 채우자 우리 윈도우 채우자 우리.
윈도우
파티
채우자,
누워있긴 해 얘들아. 윈도우 채우고 형
나
선이야.
헬멧
확인 확인. 메이 안 보여 메이 안 보여. 야 너 파티 부르자.
네네.
확인.
오케이
메이 앞에 메이 앞에.
나게 나와
확인. 필드 끝나고 나가자. 윈도우 나갈 준비.
중앙 봐
확인 확인. 칼리 줬어 줬어. 나 봐줘야 돼 얘들아.
낙해 얘들아 야 윈도우 뺐다 야 메이로시 앞에
메이 확인. 필. 야 밑에 메이 필 붙어있다. 메이 필인데.
나 시켜 나서 왼쪽
서이필 할만해 이거.
때문에 구멍이 안 되게
사실 봐줘야 돼 이거.
해서 나게 잘했다 이거
10필.
비트 온다더라
비트 오는 거 하긴.
비트 생각발로
밥부터 하고 비트면 흘리자 이거.
야 밥도 이거 같이 가자 숙제라 나랑
그만 된다 그냥.
이거 할만해 야 나올 준비 되냐?
네네네네.
한번 갈게
아. 뺐다. 주방대.
주방 봐
비트 뺄 준비 이거 얘네 거.
야 더블
앞에 쳐봐, 앞에 쳐봐.
석양이야 석양이야
사람 다 누길 수도 되네. 조심.
사람 박태기
서 누워있다, 오른쪽에.
다음부터
야, 사람 올게, 나와. 내어봐. 아, 발 막혔다. 아.
해봐
뺏어, 계속해서 나 캐.
낙해 들어
라필.
들어왔죠
방향.
야야
한줄 셋업하고, 한 셋업하고.
나게 할게 들어 비트
헬렌 빠져있으면 이거 그냥 쳐, 기왕 쳐. 중앙대.
기본탑 먼저
람쳐. 누워있어, 얘네.
라필
다 잡아야 돼.
주먹이냐?
들어. 나오래, 얘들아.
라필 와 뒤지나 이거? 나 진짜 제발 루루루루
슈필.
야나 앞에서 할 거야 얘들아 이거
야, 앞에서 민도 해야 된다, 무조건.
나
이거.
말할게
Great experience being shown from T1, able to tango with one of the best rush teams in the world. That back and forth dance, so crucial to be played at this level.
And I love their decision to push up and take this position, right?
Tech shock.
Trying to catch them off guard. Tech shock. They also have crowds.
They don't see him. He's straight into the backline, gets the bubble as well. Comes in onto Simple, and without this Baptiste, the fight could be over before it begins. Bap has to drop the Amp Matrix solo, but Zest still gets the job done. Here comes the Bob into the backline, and there's no touch. T1. The second map of the series, Twisted Minds are reeling.
Didn't have this one on my bingo card.
Absolutely
not. Gonna be
absolutely not.
Gonna be honest there. It's, you know, T1 comes in and they take a 2-0 lead over Twisted Minds, and no, you gotta say this is just great strats and game plan and execution out of T1. It seems like they kind of cooked up this comp they think can work. Maybe they've had an opportunity to try it out in scrims against some other teams. And TM now on the road. Dude, he is
15K.
He is popping off. I mean, this is the Proud I thought we were going to get at the midseason championship, like later in the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of like, I mean, we listened to Avril for like 5 days in the green room talk about this guy was like the greatest player of all time. And then,
I mean, he's a young player though. You got to give him some time to grow. And
yeah,
I feel like, I mean, performances like this are starting to cement that legacy and starting to show why a lot of players have seen him as one of those key up-and-coming hit scans.
You can clearly see the the skill and the potential. Like, it is very clear to see.
This is more than potential, Matt.
Oh, no.
It's here.
This is dominating. Yeah, he is dominating the lobby. But this is like, for T1, right? You get performances like this from him and Zest, the outlook of this team in the tournament is drastically different, right? Like, this is a team that can go deep into the tournament.
Absolutely.
And it's really exciting because it's a team that I think a lot of people, you know, had on their radar as somebody like, all right, yeah, T1, they'll get like top 6, right? And like, that'll be a good performance.
Exactly. That's been their standard. But this is a T1
this
that's
looks
playing
different,
at the,
yeah,
like, okay, let's, like, you know, your Falcons maybe not having the strongest showing against Barrel. And you're starting to look at T1 and saying, I hope I don't meet them.
They're bringing out a sim comp of their own. They're playing some Sigma. They're doing a lot of stuff with the Venture now that they're bringing in, obviously, Ashe. We've seen Ashe more today, I feel like, than yesterday.
And, I mean, Vigilante and Skewed able to bring out a double flex support look.
T1?
That's a little bit nasty. That's a little bit nasty. I'm starting to see the vision here for T1. I mean, you'd be blind if you can't. I mean, they're up 2-0 against our EU #1 seed. The zeitgeist coming into this tournament was all, the gap is closing. You know, EU's about to do it. This is going to be the best tournament yet.
The gap closing.
We might have. We're looking like we're going to have 3 Korean teams in the top 4.
The gap closing is going to become a meme so fast.
The gap is widening, man. The gap is widening.
The gap is closed. The gap is closed. God, I mean, you know, sometimes, look, when you get players in interviews, and they don't have the other players at the LAN in front of them, they're at home, they say some wild stuff. And then all of a sudden now we get the gap is closing, and then we get here. And you know the Korean players have been hearing all the talk about
They've been hearing about the gap closing.
The gap is closing.
They've been hearing now what they think about it. It's a little different. It's a little different when it comes to T1's perspective.
I mean, they're trying to turn TM into roadkill here, just on their way forward through the bracket.
I mean, this is our EMEA #1 seed.
So it's
and if they just get blitzkrieged out in a 3-0, what a gut punch for the tournament.
Oh, that's brutal. Shambali, the pick here for Twisted Minds. This is one you could play some Sig on. You would have to probably play it with the Sim. I don't know if you can, like, well, we have seen Venture on this map as well, but it feels like, though, with the mobility, if, like,
I mean, this is like Varel showed what the double backline, double flex support can do on this map.
Yeah.
They beat Falcons with it. Right? So I kind of want to see what, like, T1, like, kind of run it like you did last map. You know, show me the BAP and something else. Okay, T1 are going to ban the Freya away. That is interesting, right? Like, because Quartz, if anything, it's been the one hit game that Quartz has played the least.
Yeah, and it's like, is it like an Ashe Protect, potentially? I don't think you would ban an Ashe.
No, because it's...
Oh, yeah, because
TM
the
opening ban.
Yeah, TM picks first. So it's like, yeah, so it's like a Freya where we have not seen Quartz really play that at all. It's like been one that he's not really loved to go to. So you can see the vibes for T1 obviously much different here now that
They're real quiet.
They are in a scenario where they will need a reverse sweep here.
Show me Yubi. Is Yubi talking right now?
Stay in the upper bracket. Is that how you judge?
We need to see that player cam. Show me Yubi, production. We got to see.
I would be worried about playing the Sig on defense here against the Sim comp, and if you don't have the mobility to get the Sig out, you can easily, especially like the first parts of the map, collapse on it pretty easily. But with the way that Team 1 is looking and with the way they're playing, I would not second guess anything they decide to do. I mean, they have looked fantastic in this series.
I mean, those are like some untested strats they've been pulling out. Like, no one has really been playing those styles.
This is
like,
stuff.
It's such a standard bearer for T1 to be able to come in as a team that has had some struggles on lands in the past.
Yeah.
And still have the confidence to kind of just take something out of your hat, to still have the belief that we can be the innovators, we can lead the meta. Rarely seen from, like, often a team like this, okay, they'd stick to the meta, they'd play what everyone else is playing. They're forcing things to change. We check out this DPS dual stats, Proud versus Quartz, and that KD tells the story, man. Proud is all over this series.
And this was the battle back at EWC that went pretty favorably.
Pretty much went the opposite way.
Yeah.
Right? Quartz was running the table.
And now it is the exact opposite. And guess what? The series score is looking like potentially the exact opposite. When it comes down to these two teams, these two players are so impactful. And like T1, this feels like a strat that you kind of cook up. Like, you get together. Like,
it's like a theory crowd. Like, this might work. Like, let's try this.
It's like, well, in theory, this should work. And, we can try this. And like, it is
I can say from experience, it's very hard when the other team is incredibly experienced at what they're doing to be able to just theory craft and like plan a strat that works. The execution to do that, it's incredibly impressive from T1, and this is a fantastic sign for them going deeper into this tournament. If they can not just beat TM, but send them packing with like a dominant 3-0 beatdown, whew. I mean, T1 are setting the stage for a very deep run in this tournament.
I mean, these are supposed to be the better games today, and we're looking staring down the barrel of 3 3-0s here, where this would be the... So, Alcatia, they beat GK, and then obviously they beat Weibo, right? Those are two really impressive wins.
But they didn't shock us, right?
No.
They didn't shock us. We knew Alcad would be this really challenging team. I think a result like this is scary even for a team like Alcatia. You came into this thinking our sim is amazing, a sim can't be beat. We said before this match, there's no roadmap for beating this sim. No one has shown how to do it. Here's the roadmap. Like every other team in the tournament, maybe you can't do what T1 can do. This is a very challenging comp, but it can be done.
Alcatia, though, I think one of the the bigger differences is we're seeing this play out is like
the flexibility.
Checkmate can play the Echo. He can play the Mei.
And Lambda can play the Mei. Like, that's what they played. Honestly, I think the Sig is countered by both Sim and Mei together. But if you can't bring both, I'm not so sure it works.
Right. It seems like Twisted Minds, it's either like feast or famine in terms of like what they can do comp-wise, right? So T1, an opportunity here to close it out where you most certainly want to, right? Because you've already burned that Sim ban, right? Still an opportunity for Twisted Minds to ban, I know, like whether it be like a SIG or something along those lines. If you remember back, Twisted Minds banned the Venture map 1, and they end up losing that one. So definitely something that I think caught them off guard a little bit. We'll see T1 here. This will be the first time we see the Soj come into action in this series outside of map number 1, right? Where Proud played that a little bit.
2, 1.
As these doors open, T1 are going to be rocking up with a very familiar style for them. Straightforward rush comp, playing around the Venture. Quartz gets one chance on the Widow. He's going to head back to the Castillo. I mean, we've seen for Zest, like without the Zarya bubbles, that Hinder nade is almost assuredly a death sentence. You got to be very careful on Venture, but at the same time, in a pressure match like this, you don't want to be baiting your team. You want to be getting in there, involved in the fights. TM take a TP now over to the flank. They're going to kind of flip the map, change the dimensions of this defense. T1 reacting passively for the moment. Here comes Jasmine with that form, charging and taking the aggression, but Yubi fully torqued, needs to stay alive, needs to keep putting the damage down, but it's Jasmine, 2 in the feed. Yubi finds 1, maybe can get a second, he does, and it's enough to maybe break apart this first defense, but in the end, T1 closed it out, and a very late delayed kill onto TVNT. Very nicely executed by T1, just getting every last second out of it.
Yeah, I think T1's going to have to back up a little bit, right, though, because you end up losing Jasmine and Zest, so you're not going to be able to kind of like hold this forward position. So Twisted Minds is going to get some payload progress out of this, but a really good early fight there from T1. Even when Twisted Minds gets in position with Yui, they get him ramped up on damage pretty fast. Jasmine just pushes right on past, and the Nemesis form picks up 2.
Not scared to get that big damage down. And now, TM need to keep this cart rolling. But how are they going to evict Jasmine? Once again, it's a TP through the flank, but this time Lucio is ready. Skewed, booped off the TP. Going to disrupt this movement from Twisted Minds. Quartz, though, still finds his way into this flank, gets a chance, but can't quite close it out for the moment. And Jasmine, once again, AoE damage swarming over this backline. Here comes Zest, diving in onto Quartz, takes down his opposition, and Proud finishes that kill. D.Va looking for something, but can't really find much of anything. Does get Proud, and actually, hold on, is still in the mech. But it seems like T1 still dominant, still fighting as a unit. This group of 4, indomitable.
Yes, it looks like they're just trying to TP out here for Twisted Minds. That's not going to go full on the chase, so I will let the rest of the members of Twisted Minds get back over here towards that payload. As I gotta tell you, Jake, if Twisted Minds loses another fight, they are in real big trouble here of even getting this first checkpoint.
Straight to the backline, TP, sending the Twisted Minds backline away, putting them in very comfortable position, and this is actually a classical Twisted Minds fight. Dancing away with the teleport, High Noon in a power position, clean up onto Jasmine with that High Noon shot. TP as well, allowing Quartz to just be wherever he wants to, and that, with the extra cart roll they got in the mid-fight, that could just be a first point cap. I don't know that T1 are going to be back in time. They're going to go fast heroes, but I think this is a bit of a lost cause, and they agree. They're going to go back to the comp that they want to play and take it to second point, but in fairness, this is a matchup that Twisted Minds understand better than just about any other team in the world. Let's go to a listen and see how they approach this second point attack.
Okay. I'm gonna be behind the ready guys. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, take it. Go. Take back. Inside. Up to. Nice, go inside. Sorry. They're from okay, this ability. Our team. Turn aside. 6 seconds. No. Don't take it. Go on. Round one. I can't take it back. Help us. Round. Bench it up.
TVNT looks to be the last man standing in this fight. No one turning to the D.Va. They know she's just indomitable here. Cannot be cleaned off the map. TVNT, I think, with 5 in that fight. All right.
I love the call-outs there of Ram 1 when Jasmine is basically at 50% HP with the block going.
That's about as low as he's going to get. That's about as low as he's going to get. I'm just going to be real.
That is a Call of Duty comm right there. He is one shot. Everybody who has been looked at is, in theory, one shot as T1 now sets up on this corner. I wonder if they decide to go quite aggressive here, Jake. You're going to be playing into the double support ult, but you have the Annihilation to work with. Dude, Proud.
That's his critical kill.
That is a huge kill going on offense.
They're going for it. They're going all in. The beat comes in from Skewed, stabilizing things for now, but Floating Astro responds in kind. Remember, this is a 4v5. Twisted Minds down numbers. Can they close it out, though? Seems to maybe be enough as TVNT does find Proud. Tech shot comes out from Zest, who doesn't want to let go of this one quite yet. The boop is beautiful from Floating Astro. Maybe that saves Yubi for now. And the wall right stays up the ground.
Dude.
Incredible showing there from that Lucio for Twisted Minds. Still, T1 stabilized for now. They're going to get another bite at this.
Yeah, and you're going to have the Stim Wall here. You're going to also have a self-destruct Deadeye coming on through, but it's going to be the Kitsune Rush here for T1. You're also going to have the Annihilation Deadeye here for Quartz.
He's going to get it back. Big kill, High Noon. It's not quite enough to get the kill. Here comes Proud. Saves the day with the overclock from the flank. And now it's only the Kiri and the D.Va. Not long for this world. TVNT going to take the long walk off the short pier there. Taking a quick reset. And now the clock has run to a point where I'm getting a little bit worried for Twisted Minds. I mean, this map so far had been much stronger for them, much more comfortable. them getting the style they really want to play. Symmetra, the Lucio, the D.Va, and T1 have just been brawling into it.
Yeah, you're also scared about Proud into building up one of these railgun shots, right? As everybody's trying to cross. It's just one kill that he needs. Is Zest kind of playing around
the flank?
Yeah, he's gonna try and
they read it.
One of these players.
Great connection there. Quartz spots it out. Here's the Venture coming. But it's just, I mean, what does it do? It buys you a moment. TP into the flank now. Here comes TVNT straight to the backline with that booster. Can't get anything just yet. Feud is here to bodyguard. T1 still healthy. And a Twisted Mind struggling to stay alive. Quartz, low HP, just barely gets saved by the supports. And TM now settling in for a longer fight. Feud has the first beat, but the rush comes out immediately from Simple. Funny Astro has beat advantage. Quartz into the backline. Beautiful TP. Puts him in a position to succeed. No support ults left for T1. Little sustain left in this fight. Venture onto the backline. Knows somebody has to deal with Quartz, but it won't be you today. It's going to be Quartz and Twisted Minds seizing their first map here.
So, man, it is another checkpoint here for Twisted Minds. Is not a lot of time, though, Jake. A minute and 30 on the clock here for TM. They need a clutch up there towards the end. Nice use of the TP. The UV puts it in a good spot, allows Quartz to kind of juggle back and forth between the flank and then obviously, in the battle with the rest of the team. Let's see if they can actually kind of get through this kind of close quarter area. This is where we see some teams really struggle here on Shambali to make it out.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful performances from TM. There's incredible pressure on them. They know this is a must-win map. They need to get it done in this series. They've got it all the way to this third checkpoint. The boop is beautiful, actually, from Funny Astro. Sends the tech shock to the side, so Zest misses his shot, and Quartz with a 4K. Give him the 5.
I mean, this is the last thing that T1 wants to see, right? Like, Quartz starting to gain confidence, getting all 5 here in this fight, and now he's going to push up looking for more. If Quartz starts to heat up, a reverse sweep doesn't seem as crazy as it was looking before, but Proud with an OC here coming out of the spawn. Kitsune Rush, Annihilation, still a very strong setup for T1 to deny Twisted Minds a full map completion.
TBNT has his work cut out for him, has to mark this Sojourn in the fight, has the self-destruct to assist in that effort. Rush comes out first from Vigilante, and it seems like TM want to fall back. They're going to play with the final seconds of this map, draining a crucial ultimate out of T1. But Zest, caught in the corner, he's going to be very aggro alongside Jasmine, gets on top of the backline. Can they stay alive through this? The TP tries to get them out of dodge at the moment. Jasmine chases Yubi down, takes down one. TVNT, though, gives as good as he gets, and Twisted Minds still into this fight. Quartz takes out the tank, and TVNT, can he live for the resuit? Not quite with Zest on the case, but the beat is good, and then the overtime spawns. This one is done. Twisted Minds gonna full cap on Shambali Monastery, a feat we've rarely seen so far this tournament.
Yeah, it happens in OT, but that's the first time where Twisted Minds actually looked like themselves, right? They come through there, they clutch up, right? Quartz making some big plays, even with Proud still kind of clicking on all cylinders for T1. So we'll see now with T1 on offense. Can they get a full map completion with some time remaining? Give themselves a chance to close the series out here as we take a look at some of the stats. Dude, Funny Astro had a really sick first half, right? I mean,
yeah,
I know
so many crucial peels to save the team from Zest.
I mean, over 5k damage on the Lucio, the almost 8k healing there. Doesn't really tell the full story, like the amount of boops and just kind of being able to kind of have that secondary team mobility, with his speed. Really fantastic stuff from Astro on offense there for Twisted Minds. So now T1 on offense here, Jake. What do you think about this Zarya swap? I kind of like it. You lose, obviously the Ram is really good at just holding those angles and positions by the cart, and especially on this map. But it also feels like you need to really empower Zest to be able to make this venture work.
I mean, this is a ton of faith in Zest, right? Because now you're going to be able to give those ally bubbles to the Venture. Let Venture take more risk, push the tempo deeper into the backline, and maybe get a little bit more done. But by the same token, this Zarya is a much softer target than a Ramatra, much more vulnerable to a team rush that we know Twisted Minds are more than capable of.
Twisted Minds kind of holding the high ground here. It's TVNT just kind of juggling down onto the payload to try and, obviously stop the progress. Quartz actually, they just barrel down right on top of the Zarya. No bubbles are going to save you from that.
I mean, you press one bubble, and that's just a go sign for TM. We have seen these attacking split pushes, though, so often just turn into a trade-out scenario. And as long as you do decent trades, as long as you get like 1 or 2 kills, it feels like the cart is going to roll. So Twisted Minds, Quartz on the walk back. That late kill into Proud means it's still a 4-on-4 for the moment. I like that TP as well, just getting some of these players back into the fight a little bit quicker, but it's a little bit awkward for TM. How are they going to play this? Okay, Funny Astro steps out. Looks like they're going to commit to this fight. TBNT grabs the Mega, and they're up wide on this high ground, so it's getting awkward now for T1. Quartz from the flank takes down Dude, and it seems like T1 are getting picked apart here. Proud fights and keeps this one in contention. TBNT trading with Azaria, desperate for the support from the team, but it doesn't come in time. The pistol, though, gets the job done on Proud.
Yeah, and well, I mean, you also still have Yubi here live. I believe the support's here as well. As Simple also has the rush, you don't really need to use it. And because Yubi is so charged up, I don't think you want to push on through. And it's going to be allow TBNT to kind of get, with that 1 kill on the Proud, get his mech back.
Yeah, still fighting strong. Here comes the rush, up the gut here. Yubi gonna drop that sim wall, making it more difficult to deploy. Beautiful headshots there from Funny Astro and Simple to take down Zest. Quartz with another, and Jasmine just has no purchase, no business in this fight, and the sim wall so potent in these big ult trades.
Now,
they're going to the spawn doors. It's the spawn door challenge, and it's been passed by TVNT.
And now, I mean, for T1, right? You're going to have your grab, you're going to have your sound barrier, your tectonic shock, and overclock. It feels like you kind of need to leave this fight with something, as you may need another fight after this to be able to get that checkpoint.
But even winning this fight, far from guaranteed. Twisted Minds have powerful tools of their own. When Quartz opens up with this OC, you don't really have a way to mitigate. I mean, you can rip the beat defensively, but then Funny Astro has the better beat. So this is a fight that T1 need to earn. This is not just going to be done on strategy.
Yeah, it's the typical, like, you know, we have seen the sound barrier kind of change for the OC in the past. It's going to be Quartz using the OC. Sound barrier now dropped by Skewed and T1. Where is this grab? The grab is thrown out. It connects on the wall. It's going to get Funny Astro and TVNT. So a nice grab there by Jasmine as he uses some of those walls there to make sure that it's not going to get eaten up by the defense matrix of the D.Va. And that's a nice use of the grab. It allows Twisted Minds, though, possibility here, Jake. It looks like TM's pushed up, but can they get a retouch?
They're going to want it. They have self-destruct. TVNT can just stay alive for a few more seconds onto the cart. Stall out as long as he can. Here comes that self-destruct on point. Pushes Proud back from the angle. He's not able to stay aggro. They're not able to pop TVNT in baby form. And so there's still a fight to be played here. TM, find one. It's traded right back. But that's Jasmine down. That's your staying power on the cart. Here comes TVNT on the D.Va. He's going to hold the cart for a moment now, but soon he's going to get the go sign to go for more kills. Proud trying to get some finishing blows before that happens, but here comes the rush from Simple, and that's going to be good enough to send T1 packing. Twisted Minds, Quartz finishes off Proud in the flank. Zest does take down Yubi, and the trade is not there immediately, so still a winnable scenario, but so awkward for T1, and Jasmine comes over to the Mirror D.Va, but it might be too little too late. With that bleed out death from Zest, it's going to be down to a last second regroup.
I mean, dude, Astro has said such a great map using those boops to kind of protect Quartz from the pressure that Zest is putting on down. Kitsune Rush, though, here for T1. Let's see, it'll be a touch here for Jasmine as now the Kitsune Rush comes down.
And for now, Twisted Minds waiting this one out, playing it slow, wanting to use this discretion. Beat almost online. Scoot doing what he can to charge it up as quickly as possible. Zest in the backline takes a bit of attention. The beat is good on to 5. Everybody gets it, but can T1 secure the kills? Yubi with that sim wall, buying space and time for the moment. TBT also has that self-destruct. Here comes the tech shock, but there's no targets for it. He's just trying to live, just trying to make space, but it's not going to be good enough. T1 set packing, Quartz with the OC, cleaning house, and securing this map for Twisted Minds. They will not be knocked out in 3-0 fashion. T1, you still have to earn this.
Yeah, a much different looking Twisted Minds there. They finally start to get things clicking on all cylinders. You see Quartz and Yubi there on your screen. Quartz knows there is a lot more still left to be done, because now you're going to have to go, if you want to win this series, to 2 straight T1 maps with their first ban. I will say, though, Jake, you get the escorts and the hybrids out of the way, right? So now you're looking at what? Like a Runa Stoppy and like a Surabasa or New Jung City, where you feel pretty comfortable on, maybe if you're TM. So maybe the map's not as impactful, but we'll see if those first bans, though, from T1 can really swing it.
What's left to ban, Matt? You kind of used your powerful bans, and we're at a point in the series where, yes, it's going to have to be 2 maps back-to-back against map pick and hero ban advantage, but You've used the Sim ban. You've used the Lucio ban.
Would you ban D.Va?
Yeah, I would. Honestly, I would. I think TBNT is actually central to this. I think Proud would be having a much more dominant game on Shambali if TBNT isn't absolutely running it down onto this Sojourn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much pressure that a D.Va can put on with Sim TPs and Lucio speeds. Here, we're on board with some of the highlights from the series. Quartz also a thorn in the side for Zest. I mean, it's kind of incredible how well Zest is doing in this series, considering he's playing against Funny Astro and Quartz on like Lucio and Sojourn or Lucio and Cassidy. And I mean, that's some of the hardest matchups to ever take here on the Venture.
And you see kind of throughout these highlights, right? T1, it doesn't really seem like they want to go to the D.Va, right? Like the T1 would rather play the Ramatra. They would rather play the Zarya, even the Sigma, right? So like maybe you do get the D.Va out of the way and try and play something or force at least TM. Like, what would you do in that case if you're TM, right? You would have to just kind of commit to either playing like a Zarya base comp, or they most likely will just play Ram 24/7, right? That's kind of what you would see them do. So at least it gives you a option there for T1 where you have a great idea what's going to go down in the tank role.
Yeah, and maybe it's back to some Sim mirrors. Maybe that's the way to close out the series, right? To be willing to do what you did in map 1, take the Sim mirror to Twisted Minds. They did it before, maybe they can do it again. I think TM, though, have finally sunk their teeth into the series, right? Started to find a bit of purchase, a bit of momentum, something to work with. Yes, it's nice to be the top seed. You get to skip that first round and, step on in, staying in that, starting already deeper into that upper bracket. But there's also something to be said for a team like T1 that's gotten a rep to play on the stage. For Twisted Minds, a few maps in, now they've got that experience to work with, something that they can kind of take in to the rest of the series.
Yeah, and it looks like, some player movement potentially on the stage. So I wonder if we're going to end up seeing Donghack come in here for T1. That would be something that we saw yesterday in a map 2 against Team CC. So that could be an option. And then obviously, with our first match here, with T1, we haven't seen Psycho come into play yet. So that is also an opportunity where maybe we see Psycho come in. Psycho could end up playing some of the, maybe they want to go with something that's like Tracer based, or they want to go with an Echo. So some options there as well for TM that we have not seen just yet.
Yeah, and I'm very curious to see what look T1 wants to go with. I feel like this is kind of a pivotal map in the series. Although TM have to win 2, if you don't do it in 1 for T1, it's like, I don't think you go map 5, Matt, and I feel like I'm very nervous if I'm T1 and you lose the next map, and now, okay, you won 2, they won 2, but the momentum is completely against you. The fans are against you.
Especially if they start to get rolling on the sim, right? It would start to feel like the ball is rolling downhill, and then you lose 2 in a row, and then all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh, we don't have an answer maybe. Or the answer that we had maybe has been figured out, right? You catch us off guard a little bit early on, and then now we've gotten used to it. We do have some subs, so it will be Donghack who comes in for Jasmine. So this tells you some main tank probably.
Hear me out. Wrecking Ball,
I was going to say.
New Queen Street. Talk about a way to throw a monkey wrench into the works. That being said, this is not a matchup that I think Twisted Minds are going to be strangers to, not something they're going to be scared of. It's still going to require an immaculate execution from T1 to get the job done, especially if Cassidy's available. I mean, has a Cassidy ban been used yet?
No. So I would
put Donghack in and ban Cassidy. If I was going to go Donghack, I would take out Cassidy right now, because whatever Quartz plays, it feels like the Cassidy is that tool, the anti-dive hit scan. You could go Sojourn. I mean, it's still going to be powerful, but it won't be at least like hindering those high mobile heroes that T1 are likely going to want to deploy if that's the direction they go.
Well, and also, Twisted Minds doesn't have a Venture ban, right? So you can get rid of the Cassidy and keep the Venture in and have Donghack now on like Ball or something along those lines. That could be pretty potent. There hasn't been a Tracer ban yet in the series either. No,
which I think is another thing that Twisted Minds might want to ban if Donghack comes in. You could also just ban the Wrecking Ball though. However, little Donghack Doomfist. You pick it up when
I started to think, I was like, well, could they play Doom?
I mean, all right, low key is kind of, I think it's kind of okay.
I think though, like if you ban the Cassidy, let's say, and then that could kind of happen. Like Funny Astro can you play Brig? Can you play Brig with something else? Funny Astro's got a pretty good break.
Funny Astro's nice. I don't think Funny Astros can be off Lucio if you're going to play Sim. At this point in
That
the
is
series,
true.
I feel like you've just... and
Would you
especially-
play like a Mei with a Brig and try and play like that? Is so not Twisted Mind.
But New Queen Street, if you're going New Queen, I just don't think the May is just not a May map, right? It's so wide open, despite the snowy conditions.
And we don't know the map yet, so obviously.
I'm just assuming. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
That's, because if Dongyek's coming in, are you gonna go Flashpoint and like
You wouldn't play
play
like
Ram?
you wouldn't Saravasa, or we have seen a lot of New Jung City.
Yeah,
Here.
We've seen a lot of Ramatra.
Yeah,
New
we
Junk City.
haven't seen a lot of at least the games we cast. We haven't seen Saravasa yet. We've only seen New Jung City. So potentially their New Queen Street would be very interesting because that throughout EMEA we do not see any New Queen Street.
Yeah.
like they do not play that map whatsoever.
It's Esperanza or bust, man. Nobody is.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I mean, the interesting thing is Runasapi to me is actually a very good sim map, and so that's why I'd be so bullish on T1 going to New Queen Street. Is I don't think like a map 5 Runasapi with sim unbanned, it's actually just over, man. You're not winning that.
So it feels like you're New Queen Street or you are New Jung City or Saravasa.
It could be Saravasa. I mean, I think New Junk City is going to be better for the May, but we're going to have to see. When we come back, we're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be here with the conclusion of the series. It's 2-1, TM's favor, or rather T1's favor, but Twisted Minds making the comeback in that last map, and after the break, we'll see the conclusion.
Look at them, Papa. Look at them. I wish you were here to see their faces. The crowd. The lights. The spectacle. I've become quite the celebrity in the Colosseum. They have chosen me. They call me La Lupa, the wolf. And I'm their villain. At first, I hated it. Their cheers and jeers reminded me of the sycophants you surrounded yourself with. Weak men who leeched off of your greatness, picking the bones of everything you built, leaving me with nothing, surrounded by my enemies, alone. But you were preparing me for this, weren't you, Papa? In your way, you showed me that fear was a weapon. You helped me temper my wild and reckless nature with patience and guile. Taught me the value in knowing my enemy, in learning to turn their greatest strengths into their weaknesses. Even in death, you showed me the consequences of underestimating an adversary. I promise you, I won't repeat your mistakes. Look at me, Papa. This is no longer the face of your little girl. Your enemies are still my enemies. But I am so much more than you had the chance to see. My recklessness is now focused rage, and I finally embraced what I once hated. I am the wolf. I am La Lupa. They're right to fear me. They will respect me. This arena, this mob, this moment is all just a means to an end. Every lesson, every loss has been tallied and recorded. I will take back everything that was stolen from us. And I will use them to do it.
can hear it in the wind. An echo. A whisper. A calling home.
It welcomes us. Not as wanderers, but as its kin.
In search of a memory of what once was, where purpose ignites.
A refuge where warriors can lay down their weapons and join forces with one another. You can feel the power as countless worlds collide.
A new future with endless possibilities.
A place to unite.
To imagine.
To belong.
Are you ready, BlizzCon?
It's about time.
The 2025 Overwatch World Finals is brought to you by DHL.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch Champions Series World Finals here in Stockholm, Sweden. If you're just joining us, we're in the midst of an epic battle between Twisted Minds, the EU #1 seed, and T1, the upstart #3 seed from Korea, but who've been making a splash in this match too far, up 2-1 in the series.
Yeah, but TM not going away with ease, right? They
Not
take
quiet.
that third map, they force us to a fourth game, and, you know, obviously, TM, we've seen a few times them come back with these reverse sweeps against, like, OWCS, for instance. Let's take a look at the map pool to catch you guys up on where we've been in the series and where we potentially are going to go. So we just saw Shambali Monastery. That goes in favor of TM. It is, like we were talking about before the break, New Queen Street. So we were talking, no, obviously, we had a little bit of a break. Donghack coming in here for T1. That would tell you a little bit more main tank. We both think probably potentially some Wrecking Ball action coming into play here. And they select New Queen Street.
Yeah, bans are going to be crucial on this map. TM,
I like getting the ban. We talked about
we talked about the Diva ban, the necessity of it with TVNT looking amazing on this hero, right? Teleporting your Diva around, just allowing her to get all the way into the back line. But taking away that Tracer, it's going to be an interesting challenge for T1. At the same time, I wonder how much they even wanted to play the Tracer. Like, even if you wanted to play a Wrecking Ball look here, I remember, Crazy Raccoons, historically, I remember them, I think it might have been last year in Stockholm, playing a Sojourn, a Venture, a Wrecking Ball on this map, New Queen Street.
Yeah, I mean, it is most certainly an option that you can do here on this map. I think the Venture Ball is a little bit harder to coordinate, obviously, than like Tracer with the ball.
And very off meta to play Wrecking Ball at all. Like, no one's really doing it. It's taken some nerfs. It was very strong for a while, but it's fallen out of favor among the top teams. However, if you're bringing Donghack in, there's got to be a reason, and I'm just very curious to find out what that reason is. What is he going to pilot on what could be the decisive map where T1 can seal their placement in the upper bracket?
Yeah, he's not coming in for fun, right? I know they're obviously bringing him in for a reason where the ball, at least to us, seems like the most likely answer at the moment. So I also was talking a little bit about it before we went to the break, where this is a map that we did not see really at all throughout EMEA. We see a lot of Esperanza here in EMEA on push. So we will see T1. They will most likely end up playing some type of ball variation.
That's what they've got queued up for now. We're going to just see what ends up coming into fruition, and Twisted Minds very comfortable with this style. It's going to be the Ramatra. I think they would prefer to have a Diva here in this spot. But lacking that option, the Ramatra is the next best. That is going to mean Donghack on the ball is going to have a lot of room to maneuver. Quartz, though, does get his Cassidy.
I do wonder, though, Jake, if they were planning on trying to play a Tracer, because you have the Sombra in the mix now, right?
Feels weird. It's kind of a, oh, the boop. Is there? Oh, Sim is down. The rollout from Donghak opens this map up with strength for T1.
So that's a brutal loss, right? That's all that mobility out of the way for Twisted Minds early on. Donghak off to a fantastic start there on the ball. The bot will get active now, and it will be T1 in control, pushing it into TM territory.
Best ball map in the game, from my perspective. TPN, immediate. Twisted Minds wasting no time, getting aggressive. There's Proud already dropping. Simple gets that kickoff in this fight, but there's still a fight to be had. Donghak takes down Yubi, and this is a comp for T1 that fights very well in lower numbers. The supports working together can be immense damage threats of their own.
Yes, Quartz just hunting there, looking for Zest, trying to get a mag grenade on him, finish off the Sombra. So that'll be a hack there on Team ENT. The virus does not connect. So TVNT just kind of power blocking there, just trying to hold that position.
This is awkward. This is so awkward. Donghak. But Zest, I mean, in the meantime, they're looking at Donghak, and that creates an opportunity for the rest of the team to take down TVNT. He loses that form and gets cleaned up. T1, Proud. Pretty impressive damage so far. Donghak swarming forward, wants to get some cleanup kills, but Funny Astro is out of this one. It's going to make its first meaningful progress of the game.
Yeah, and Zest also gets control of that health pack underneath there by where the bot initially spawns. That's a really important health pack to be able to kind of control.
Especially for Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, it'll
really
be curious.
Relies on it.
Yeah, it'll be curious if we see if they're able to get control of the top, health pack as well. Kitsune rush here for Twisted Minds off of the high ground, and that's going to allow them to get control. T1 does not want to fight into this.
Crowd caught by the TP rotation. The rush is good, but TVNT is incredibly low on this Sumatra. Do they have the finish? Donghak's gonna pop the mine, zoning players away from this backline. Donghak desperate for the kill, does find Simple, and the rush comes in from Vigilante and T1. You might drop a player or two, but they're fighting incredibly well when the first pick goes against them. It's gonna be just cleanup here. The rest of the squad still, Twisted Minds have kept the advantage to a minimum. At the same time, this is gonna be their biggest challenge yet. EMP on the cards for Zest, and on top of that, the Tidal Blast. A devastating power combo, and TVNT over to the Zarya to give him a little bit of a more powerful tool to match those ultimates.
Yeah, a little bit of a different look here, right? You can obviously use these Zarya bubbles a little bit more defensively, right? As Yubi and Quartz both take some big damage, most likely from Proud turning the corner. So it's going to be a stim wall here from Yubi opening things up. EMP takes that away. It's going to be a sound barrier there from Astro, going to connect with everybody.
Just barely getting away T1 from that high noon, but Funny Astro does catch Feud on the retreat. Once again though, T1 in the 4v5s, they played incredibly well. This time, Quartz, TVNT, the Zarya Cassidy working together to clear off that backline, deal with the threats as they come. And T1 now on the retreat on their side of the map. Who's going to hold on to the cart? What answers further do they have for TVNT Zarya? Because now Quartz is going to be a much tougher kill with ally bubbles available.
Oh, and especially, for Donghak and Zest risking their lives, going even near Quartz, right? Just generally a demon there with the mag grenade being able to finish off flankers now with the extra survivability of the Zarya bubble, but that's going to be actually a shot from Proud into Yubi at range, and then Donghak finds it as Yubi has had a rough start to this map.
Rush comes out from Simple. Twisted Minds, still something to be said about this one. Quartz finds one, does hit the deck after that, but TVNT still healthy, 2 supports to enable this Zarya to take over the game in a high-energy Zarya. Few characters in Overwatch dare stand toe-to-toe, and certainly none from T1. Donghak pops the mine, trying to keep this fight going, but TVNT, unafraid, is still going to secure this cap. Funny Astro with the cleanup, and ever since the Zarya swap came out, T1 started to struggle.
Yeah, that is checkpoint there for Twisted Minds. Quite impressive there from them early on. And like you mentioned, Jake, as soon as this Zarya swap comes in for TM, T1 is really a no kind of answer for it. It'll be Proud here with the bola shot, though. He's getting pressured out. Quartz with the 2-tap with the help there from Funny Astro to get him in position. So they're going to get some more progress.
And I mean, the tempo has completely changed on this map. Donghak has struggled on the Wrecking Ball ever since this Zarya came out. And the TP is now allowing Quartz to get insanely active. You see Funny Astro so aware, bodyguarding Mr. President here. Quartz on the Cassidy, high nooning undercover. Dodges the slam for the moment, trying to get a bit of channel, but no one is providing themselves here. Still, that's creating a lot of opportunity for Cart to continue to roll forward. Here comes the EMP, a big connection, but Funny Astro even bitter with that beat. The grab comes in now, cuts down the backline of T1. And this map is crumbling. It started so strong for Donghak on the Wrecking Ball, but hasn't really found anything, and the answer looks to be the Zarya for Twisted Minds.
The Zarya from TVNT has been dominant. And now you have Simple set up with this Kitsune Rush. The Deadeye there from Quartz in the last fight at the start of it, Jake, it was really to just allow them to buy some time. They didn't want to get rushed on because Simple and Funny Astro both quite low. That'll be the Lucio dying here. It's going to be the Tidal Blast put onto Donghak as that is going to finally be a fight win there for T1.
I mean, they staunched the bleeding, but 115 meters, man. I mean, this is a Sisyphean task to bring this game back, especially because now, I mean, these fights, yeah, you win a fight in your own spawn, but well, when Zarya and Cassidy have power positions, they're like, look at this room, how do you break this hold?
And you've also, for T1, you have not gotten the checkpoint, right? Even though they got extremely close, you've not got the checkpoint just yet. Nice job from Simple there to kind of get out of dodge as soon as he gets hacked, and now you're with Funny Astro here. They're going on a little bit of a flank.
They're flipping into the spawn. They do lose Funny Astro. Donghak takes down Proud, but maybe damage is done. T1 in the 3v4 advantage. Donghak gets that cleanup on Cassidy. Not much of a threat when he doesn't have his teammates around him to protect him. Simple's going to step up, die on a car. TVNT following in his footsteps. But on the enemy side of the map, you're playing with the house cash. Twisted Minds just building up the bank.
Well, it looked like they were actually trying to wrap there and then maybe get like a Kitsune Rush in an off angle or from the high ground and drop it down low and then catch T1 and not able to get everybody in position to do so. So finally, T1 gets the bot from deep in their spawn, at least the mid-map.
Big slam and minefield on the main group and splits away Funny Astro, who's also hacked, could be caught alone on the flank. TVNT is low with the stim wall, stabilizes things for the moment, allowing Twisted Minds to regroup, to reset themselves for this fight. A nice headshot onto the Zarya is going to slow down TVNT's aggression, and a beautiful rail onto Funny Astro. Tried to wall right through, couldn't get it done. High Noon doesn't connect, and now T1 with the player advantage. No Lucio to ferry you around, but TVNT is just once again running this bot into the enemy side of the map, trying to make what progress he can. Still, T1 dancing immaculately here, staying away from the high energy Zarya. TVNT's like, I'll go cap the map.
Well, even with this, Jake, right? No, you're not going to get any more like progress, per se, here for Twisted Minds, but you get those forward spawns again. You push the bot so far back in the T1 territory, you're going to get another fight like right around one of this, like the first corner here, potentially. Looks like the Twisted Minds may be setting up for something a little bit different here towards mid-map, but it's still a fight where the Twisted Minds, it's going to take 2-3 fights for TM to even get close.
EMP slammed down, but the bubble was already there still. Enough damage. Vigilante does the job of 10 men here, cleaning up on that Kiriko. Proud and Stewed contributing as well. The EMP is good enough to keep this cart rolling, and Zest over to the bencher recognizes he can't rely on too many more EMPs, especially with Zarya Cassidy on the field.
Yeah, but a ton invested there from T1. Do they try and contest this yet again? They do. They get there right before they get the checkpoint.
And Twisted Minds are just giving nothing for free. Vigilante finds one. Zest gets another in the grab. It does get a kill, but it takes way too long. And now Quartz in the sights here for Zest, who gets that cleanup kill. Simple trades it back, which is actually crucial for TM here. Getting these extra trade kills, just now getting the butt scratch as well. So T1 have a couple more fights to win if they want to bring it back, but they have started to turn the momentum of this match.
I did not really love that fight from Twisted Minds. It felt like TVNT pushed up a little bit too far. Maybe he was hell-bent on stopping them from getting the checkpoint. Gets the one with the grab, but it felt like you just got really nothing else after that. So Twisted Minds needs to be careful here, Jake, not to throw this one.
They TP into the room, but the OC now in the open has all the space to work with. Beat is good, but maybe not good enough. Look at this choke being absolutely dominated by Donghak. The rush deployed from Simple to get them out of the room, to get a little bit of space to work with. But Quartz can't stay alive outside. Full control from T1 now in this fight, but TVNT still has the energy, still can bring that damage. Funny Astro slammed down upon Vigilante once again, finding crucial cleanup kills in this fight. TVNT feels like just a matter of time before this Zarya drops, but Zuby finds one, Yubi finds two. Out of nowhere, the Sim clutches up. I didn't have that on my bingo card, Matt.
No, and you still have Simple here, who looks like he actually kind of TPs on out. Simple does a nice job just keeping TVNT alive for long enough, and that is a fight there, Jake, which is quite massive, right? TM doesn't really gain any progress out of it, but they just burn so much clock, and now they give themselves a great opportunity here. Simwall plus Deadeye, potentially another grab on the table here to send us to a game 5.
Yeah, and this would be huge for Twisted Minds. The band's proving to be a bit ineffectual now. TP wide, T1, it's do or die. They gotta stay alive in this fight. The High Noon from Quartz has beautiful vision of the map. T1 have to wait this one out, go deep, the Tidal Blast, just buying time. UB with the Stim Wall, delaying things further. T1's comp is excellent in these stall scenarios, but you've got to be so careful. That overtime wick is gonna burn incredibly fast here, and TVNT has a grab of his own. Quartz opens up on the Proud,
Grab
and this
available.
one could be going the distance, Matt. Grab could be devastating now. The rush comes in from Vigilante, but the grab defends. Zest cannot survive, blocked from using those movement skills. Vigilante lasting just a little bit longer, but that rush should break the back of T1. We are going game 5, Matt. Twisted Minds hanging on.
They looked phenomenal with that Zarya-based composition. The Tracer ban may have paid off. We'll have to kind of hear from T1 after what their kind of initial plan was, but they come out early on with that Sombra. As soon as they switched to the Zarya, they looked like pretty defeatable there on the Ram, but as soon as the Zarya swap comes through,
absolutely,
that is when Twisted Minds look at their best. So we get a game 5, a potential reverse sweep on the cards here for Twisted Minds, battling their way back into it.
I was getting worried that Johnny'd be picking my candy from the bowl, but it seems like TM might be solidifying this one. I mean, they came into this match, I would say, as the expected favorite, but T1 have thrown challenge after challenge at Twisted Minds, and finally it feels like TM are starting to get that edge. And honestly, as we go towards Flashpoint, I'm starting to get worried for T1. What's going to be their final look in Game 5? And we're going to Flashpoint against the Sim Lucio team. You don't want to be here on T1.
No, and look, Quartz starting to heat up, right? 11k damage there. We were talking about that head-to-head earlier, a lot like how we talked about at EWC, where Quartz got the better of Proud. Proud was nasty the first 2 maps. It feels like the tides are shifting, though, towards Quartz in the later half of this game.
And I mean, honestly, Twisted Minds are getting so much from so little. You look at this stat card, and it pretty much looks like T1 crushed them in this map. But because every fight that Zarya wins, she's rolling the objective constantly. Wrecking Ball cannot keep up in that front. Has to win fight after fight. Has to be incredibly consistent. You drop one big team-wipe engagement, and Zarya rolls the cart 50, 100 meters. And TVNT, he's feeling it, man. The Zarya swap was beautiful, played to perfection. Not easy to find those perfect ally bubbles on exactly the right teammate at exactly the right time, especially against players like T1.
All right, so T1, they obviously get their final map pick here in the series. Saravasa or New Junk City. We have not seen a sub yet, so I would assume at this point we're going to still see Donghack.
Yeah.
For this map.
A bit surprising, maybe. Because, I mean, the Wrecking Ball, I get it on New Queen Street. It didn't work out this time, but I see the vision. And, and I feel like they could have won, right? Like, it was close enough to say they could have won. If they had a bit better of a defensive side of the map and maybe stifled some of the progress from Twisted Minds, it was a winnable scenario. But as we go into Flashpoint, I mean, can you really play that? Can you really play that?
Is there a ban you like even?
I mean, both teams. I mean, this is the thing about Game 5. It's like both teams. You've used your bans. I mean, there's bans.
All right, so it looks like
that's crucial here.
It looks like maybe Donghack getting up there, so maybe we do get Jasmine.
I would be surprised if Jasmine didn't come in. I mean, considering the totality of the series so far, I'd love to see more Sim Mirror. I mean, I know that's a little bit crazy, but I don't know that without any bans, I'm not so sure you're going to be able to avoid it.
Would you ban? Okay, so New Junk City is the map selection.
Interesting. We haven't seen much New Junk City right after the map rework. I would have
really
thought, hey,
just at this event.
Yeah, I mean, right? This has been the beginning of this map, and it's a little bit more open. I would still think it's a decent sim map, but they must feel like it's worse than Saravasa at least.
Would you, for T1? Do you think about a Zarya ban?
Oof.
Would you leave Donghack in and then ban Zarya?
I mean, the thing about banning Zarya is it feels like it unlocks TVNT's D.Va. I think TVNT wants to play D.Va.
It's
like,
not a great ball map.
He would love to play
D.Va.
And exactly, I feel like, honestly, I don't know what Donghack can really play that makes this look good. I feel like right now this is an off-tank scenario. Ramantra could work, but Jasmine can pilot that Ram, and pretty comfortably, and has, I think, the deeper roster of picks. And so far, the Sigma has kind of been that one comp that has gone unanswered, that TM haven't found the answers for. They are going to ban the Ram this time.
the Ram and then a Brig Ban. So the Brig Ban is great for TVNT's Diva, right? I mean, we haven't seen T1 go to any Brig, right? So
I don't think they will, but
No.
I guess at this point, it's like, whatever. You know, it's like, in theory, it might come out.
Yeah.
Maybe T1 would try to play some sort of dive comp, but I don't think.
What do you think
Brig
about the
seems
Ram?
terrible against Symmetra.
What do you think about the Ram Ban, though? Like,
I think they want to play Zarya. I mean, for me, when I see Ram Ban, I'm like, you want to play Zarya? That's what it signals.
so I guess, is this series going to end in a Zarya head-to-head? It feels like we haven't seen T1 play much Zarya throughout.
I just wonder about the Zarya in general here because, like, it just seems to die to Symmetra. You just get cooked. I mean, we saw, like, on that first fight on Shambali, I was like, oh, man. They just speed amped on the Zarya off the high ground.
They want to go back to Sig? No. There's no way, right?
Maybe taking the Ram away is also benefit Sigma.
Yeah, it
Ram
does.
has good matchups in both of those regards. So, yeah, and I can see that. I can see the vision.
Like, are you going to try and maybe play Sim Sig?
If I were coaching, I would be playing Sim Sig. That would be my call here. I would go Sim Sig, and I would play the Sim Mirror. I would play at a distance. I would play the ult fight. I would play slow and try to ice out to optimize in their aggression.
So with Jasmine coming in, maybe we do see the Sim with the Sig. We did see Jasmine early on in the series. Really, most of the series, it was just that map we saw Donghak playing some Sig, playing some Ram, even though you get rid of the Ram
it is
here.
weird too, because we're talking New Junk City. I mean, this isn't exactly your textbook Sigma map.
No.
I mean, it's Flashpoint. I think... I guess it could work, right? You know, it's one of those heroes that
Johnny floated out a Maga the other day, and I was like, I don't
know about the Maga.
There's no way.
Big Maga, I'm not sure about it.
I don't even know. I don't think we really want that. I mean,
no, let's be honest. Let's be honest.
No, let's be honest. Well, let Maga stay at home. We don't need Maga in Stockholm. It's fine.
It's way too cold here. Bro's not even wearing a shirt.
So maybe, dude, it is a weird, like, Suravasta is probably a better Sig map.
I mean, it's honestly kind of close because Suravasta, the first point is pretty good for Sig, but New Junk City, I could see some of the other later points, you know, having a bit of that wider, more open characteristic.
I mean, I don't think you would want to take a Diva head-to-head, would you? I mean...
And also, because, I mean, Sig is pretty nice against Diva because you can just, like, pummel her with rock.
Yeah.
She just has nothing for it. She flies in, gets rocked, and kind of gets sent packing.
Yeah, maybe they were a little bit like, okay... Maybe they feel like a little bit for TM, like, okay, the Ram with the Sim is actually pretty good into the Sig, and maybe that TM just hasn't discovered that yet, and maybe that's what.
And also, remember, map 1, Lucio was banned, so the Ram, but the Ram couldn't close the distance on the Sig, couldn't really get across those gaps. So now maybe take that Ram out, and okay, Yubi says this is a dub. Yubi says, you know what? I can understand that.
Hey, I mean, look at the scoreline the last two maps. 3-0, 1-0.
I mean, yeah, the tide is turning. And this is, we talk about T1 in terms of the bigger picture for this team, right? The story that's been told about them time and time again is that maybe the lights get a little bright. You know, maybe they're struggling
Not
down
like
the stretch.
this, though.
Some of these
I mean, dude.
But, I mean, Matt, I just got to be real with you. Like this.
Yeah, I mean, what? That last map was like 40 meters, probably decided it. Don't really remember the exact meterage, but it was around
About
there. And then obviously TM gets a full map completion on Shambali and then full hold.
They're two
T1.
pretty dominant maps back to back.
Yeah.
So TM are for sure. Yubi's expressed it just about as clear as he thinks this one's done and dusted. He thinks T1 is choking. He thinks they're done and out.
They need a proud life game.
They need a life game.
We talking about these
They
life
need a
games.
life game.
We haven't had a life game, quote unquote.
But the hit scan is, I'm sorry, but hit scan ain't carrying you out of the
But look, this is like kind of what the series has come down
Man,
to, right?
Right. We saw this stat card earlier in the series, and it was completely flipped.
Right.
Crowd was crushing.
And these last
I will
two
say,
maps.
this is quite close. I mean, this is about as close as you're going to see. In maps, Proud lost in maps 3 and 4. To be this close is actually a testament to Proud.
And I don't even think it's really the stats. It's just like Quartz finding, like, you know, the first two maps constantly on the Sojourn. Proud is finding like an early pick off in like one of these fights, right? Like leading the fight in terms of getting a pick early on. And now Quartz on the Cassidy and other heroes is starting to find those really early advantages that TM is so convinced.
They're having fun, man. They're loose.
Yeah.
They're loose. This is that team
they're vibing.
that is, you know, there's a reason they've you know, looked to be a championship squad. The reason they came here to Stockholm to lift that trophy. They're not surprised to find themselves in a winning position in this series. And I think T1, sad as it may be, also have been in scenarios before where they've been in a great position in the series and haven't been able to close it out.
If you
been
are
deep into a tournament and have kind of flagged.
If you're a TM and you're talking right now in this setup of this final map, what are you envisioning them running out with?
Something. It's got to be Sim. The only question in my mind is what TVNT is going to play. It's going to be Simcast or Simsoj, Lucio, Kiri. Nothing fancy, and then something interesting for TVNT. However, before we jump into this next map, let's take a look at the bracket. Let's see where we're at in the tournament overall. Remember, this is just day 2, man. We got a lot more Overwatch to play.
And I mean, we got a lot more good Overwatch here. Is this one is really delivered. Our first 2 matches of the day, man, they were some blowouts, but they were blowouts in a dominant fashion where that matchup of Alcatia versus Crazy Raccoon, that may not be the only time you see that match this week. That could be a match that the loser of that sees that team yet again in the grand finals. I mean, that is how good those 2 teams have looked. And then we obviously have Team Liquid versus Falcons coming up after this one, where Falcons really barely got by Varel yesterday. Very close game.
They look beatable for sure. However, for Team Liquid, another team, I kind of compare them to T1, of a team with incredible expectations, this really star-studded roster full of players that it's easy to get excited about. But at the same time, TL have been a little bit lacking in terms of the true international results. And so, I mean, 2 of these teams, I think, in the quarterfinals with high expectations, but I mean, so far haven't been able to meet them. And so I think as we go into this game 5 for T1, I think this is the moment for them to rewrite that script. This is the moment, if they can, do the heartbreaker, end of the reverse sweep for Twisted Minds, secure this win, it sets the beginning of a new era for T1. If not, feels like they're falling back into old traps.
Oh, and you see this lower bracket. So those lower round 1s are going to be first to 2s. SSG versus Varel, that is locked in. And then Weibo versus Team CC. One of the teams from China going to bow out real early.
We're only going to have 1 representative continuing on from our Chinese region and could find themselves in a tough spot. TVNT is feeling good, feeling confident, and he has every reason to, right? The swaps have been on point from TVNT. The aggression, the decisiveness really impressed me. I mean, this guy's not that long in terms of his experience as a professional player early in his career and has already really started to turn heads, looking like one of the best tanks in Europe.
For sure. I mean, there's a reason, with they were kind of rotating TVNT and KSA around for a lot of the year, but really this second half of the year, it has been all TVNT. And I think it's really because of that diva. Being able to play that diva at an extremely high level, you're not going to say like, Ziad level, right? But close. And then also has some good flexibility. TVNT is pretty good on the Ramatra. Can also, obviously, as we saw, play a very competent Zarya. So it has a lot of great tanks in his wheelhouse at the moment.
This team is just so dang good.
They just don't have like a ball look or anything like that. Like they don't.
Well,
really
look,
have, they don't
never
need
playing ball.
Yeah,
they're never playing ball.
It's EMEA. They're not playing ball.
Yeah, come on. Let's be real here. You're not playing ball, Sam. That's
no.
You got to stop cooking. If you're cooking that up,
and
put it in the freezer.
Yeah, and it starts with Sim. So we're not messing with any type of ball here. Let's see. Okay, so the Ramatra ban and the break ban here as we get set to go into this game 5. T1 came out on fire. Twisted Minds, they have battled back with a dominant Shambali and a very convincing win on New Queen Street to potentially get this reverse sweep. This would be a gut punch for T1. I mean, they were looking
devastating. Honestly devastating.
And they're looking like world beaters early on.
They're staring down the barrel of it right now because, I mean, they've lost 2 maps back-to-back. It's been tough. There's been some pauses, some tech issues in the series, and T1 have had to sweat it out through all of that. And for these young players, I mean, that makes a difference. This team doesn't really have that stacked group of veterans. In the back line, yes.
Yeah. It's just you don't have that, they do obviously have, Vigilante and Skewed. Fantastic players, right? But, it's hard when not every team is, a carry, per se, right? But, if you're Crazy Raccoon and you're in a series like this, right, you always know, you have Flip, who has, and Shu, who have crazy championship pedigree, have been in crazy moments before, who feel like you can kind of, bail you out, so to speak. I don't think T1 kind of has somebody like that. So at least here, it looks like T1 actually wants to play the Zarya with the Venture.
They're not going to take the stim mirror here. And Matt, I'm a little bit worried for them. Zest has an immense burden to carry here. Gonna have the Zarya bubbles to enable his plays, but TM has historically navigated these incredibly well. Immediately TP onto the backline. Jasmine in trouble, backpedaling, trying to stay alive, but Venture creates the space and Proud shuts down court. So for all the momentum in the series, Proud doing what needed doing, keeping this game alive, cleaning up the flankers as well. Oh, what a clean moves from Proud there.
And I wonder if we're going to see some changes from Twisted Minds. So early on, T1, they decide to bring out that.
I don't think we're going to see any changes with Twisted Minds. I'm
well,
real
would you see Cassidy, possibly?
I mean, it's interesting. I don't think so, honestly. I think the Venture with Zarya bubbles becomes kind of a predator to
Can't
Cassidy.
really deal with it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, typically that matchup goes the other way, but you add a Zarya bubble into the mix, and suddenly Cassidy's just this immobile hero, an easy kill.
Other teams not as sim-pilled, potentially even thinking about Mei in a scenario like this, but that is not the type of game that Twisted Minds wants to play. They are going to go all out with this sim comp.
The TP to the backline, flanking back and forth, hitting from multiple angles, but T1 standing tall, facing the test. Yubi does get torqued up and just absolutely burns down Lucio, but the rest of T1 steps on the gas at the same moment. And Twisted Minds just have nothing left in the tank.
You know, we just see TVNT and Yubi there. Where are Quartz in the supports? It feels like there was really nothing else going on there. Not a lot of damage exchanged, as I think Twisted Minds, they decide to just give this point up. Not going to go in and contest it.
I think they can. Yeah,
yeah, he's going for the low
He's going to get a touch, but going to maybe meet the Diva with a TP from the high ground. TVNT is going to run the clock. He wants to bring Zarya back to the point, but for now, Jasmine,
I don't think T1's falling for this. Yeah,
aggroing this. Quartz does finally get a bit of an angle here. So there's a fight to be had. Simple. Gonna pop the rush. Ultimates come out. Dude, immediate beat right as he charged it up. Funny Astro far from that ultimate, and Zest cuts him down. Gonna deny that final charge. And T1 are gonna be capping your first checkpoint here on New Junk City. Starting what could be a beautiful moment for this team if they can end this reverse sweep, break the hearts of Twisted Minds.
Yeah, so TM, they actually go back in, try and recontest. They go from the low ground and try and set something up where they kind of TP some players from that high ground behind, and doesn't exactly work out. A sound barrier from Skew that allows us to get extremely aggressive when the Kitsune rush comes down from Twisted Minds, and I feel like this next fight is huge for TM. They need to kind of get Quartz online.
They get this wide angle, but Proud has the first overclock. It's going to be probably an overclock duel on this high ground. So crucial to be the team dominating high ground. You kind of don't want to be the team to step to point first. Neither team wants to make that error. This second checkpoint on Flashpoint could be crucial. It's actually T1 willing to drop lower. Proud thinking about whether he wants to get active first. Zarya trying to cap. OC pops from fourth, but can he find an angle? T1 bunkering so nicely in this room. The rush from Vigilante is going to make attacking in a fraught prospect. Simball deployed from UV, allowing TM to just swing wide, confidently on point. Rush stifled in the corner. Zest holding onto the point with that burrow is very nice. Creates an opportunity for Proud to step up. Funny Astro forced into a very defensive beat, and there's still a fight to be had here. T1, high ground control. The point's against them, but they can still fight this one out. Here comes Proud, diving in right on top of the Lucio. Funny Astro trying to dance out of that one, but it's not meant to be. The heals are beautiful, keeping Proud alive, and he's right back to the checkpoint, wanting to re-secure this cap. Masterful performance from TM.
Yeah, T1. They get control of the point yet again. They kind of just eventually bully out Twisted Minds from the high ground. They end up using the overclock and the tectonic shock at the same time. Gets Twisted Minds to end up investing their sound barrier. And then, you know, TM, they get an early pick off, but just forced off of that high ground, and they were never able to get back in and try and recontest. T1 now has the grab plus their sound barrier to work with, Jake. So in a really nice spot, but they lose Proud.
Yeah, I think a rail connected onto Proud at that same moment, and Yubi gets the cleanup with a spam kill. Rush deployed from Symbol, a big grab out of Jasmine, but can he force any further resources out of this? Twisted Mind's just too healthy, staying alive. TVNT steps up onto point with the backup from Yubi Symmetra, and they absolutely wipe T1 off the face of the earth here. Just took a rush from Simple. And TM now want to secure their first flashpoint, but they've got 50% to go. There's another chance for T1 to get back into this.
I mean, the kill onto Proud is enormous there at the start. Railgun from Quartz, right click from Yubi, finishes him off, and then Jasmine tries to use a grab, saves them, the point up on the high ground. It's a nice Zuzu that comes in from Simple, and then defense matrix there from TVNT to keep those players up.
And Zest, super aggro, needs the beat, but had to drill that defensively. Here he comes, dancing in with that Lucio, trying to get on top of Twisted Minds, but they bounced away for the moment. Now it comes to that brawl on high ground, and the rush advantage does favor T1 here, so Twisted Minds gonna have to respect it for the moment. Here it comes, coming out enough to get Funny Astro into the backline. Zest making use of that tool. TVNT dies. Are not gonna stagger this baby D, but they want more blood in the water as T1 chase to the Twisted Minds spawn. This is the opportunity to break the back of Twisted Minds, secure this checkpoint. However, you come too far, you could find yourself in real trouble. Here comes the tech shock from Zest. He refuses to wait, refuses to back down, and he just manages to get simple despite the wall from Yubi.
Oh, that is such a huge play there from Zest. That is going to give the second flashpoint over to T1. As although Twisted Minds, they won 2 maps in a row, T1 kick off here on New Jung City, winning the 2 first flashpoints, giving themselves an opportunity to close it out with the next one.
Beautiful aggression from Zest, just being willing to take the risk. That's been this Achilles heel for T1 in the past. They've struggled in these high pressure moments against top teams. But today, maybe the beginning of a new era, beginning of a new moment. Still a lot of ultimates to fight through. T1 have their work cut out for them here on this take.
Yeah, it feels like an absolutely must-win fight, this first one here. And guess what? Proud versus Quartz, both OCs available, both gonna get popped.
Quartz has to win this. The beat comes down. Funny Astro not taking any risks, not taking any gambles. Zarya in the sight. Quartz cuts him down, but Crowd gives it right back. Has to slide forward into that though, and TVNT is gonna make sure that's his last mistake. T1 sent packing to the spawn. In a relatively inexpensive fight for Twisted Mind. 2 ults to 1, just about stock standard.
They just have to be perfect though from here on out. You can kick off this next fight potentially with your Kitsune Rush in the choke, right? You can kind of get aggressive behind that, maybe get a fight win there. At that point though, you're looking at an ultimate advantage though for T1. So Twisted Minds, you need to win this fight if you're going to invest something like the Kitsune Rush, because T1 is going to have a big ultimate advantage soon.
And T1's going to have this grab, so yes, you have the rush. TP deployed for now, making a bit of space, a bit of time. But Venture takes so much attention, so much space into this backline. Twisted Minds rotating away. Here comes the rush right into the T1 backline. But look at Jasmine, instantly falls back, protects the team. In the meantime, Zest left on an island though, and does get punished for that. T1, they want to continue this fight. They want to hold the map position, give themselves a chance to retake, but Twisted Minds don't want to let that happen. They're trying to chase down the Zarya, trying to deny him saving his energy. The cleanse is good from Vigilante though, and that's going to mean Jasmine is absolutely chopping down TVNT, re-pushing into this with the help of Zest.
And double support ult, right? That is enormous. They needed that kill on a Jasmine. This 60 charge going to get up to like 90 really fast as this fight kicks off.
Venture burrowing on the point. Here comes TVNT into the backline. Defensive bubbles are good from Jasmine, keeping everybody alive, and with the rush on point, it's an easy flip for T1. Twisted Minds, they know they can't fight into it. They choose to give up the point and stay alive for another day. Now on the retake, see if they can get it done, but Yubi catches that. Another spam catch, following up some damage from the squad. Here comes the grab, risks it right into the Diva's face, and it's good enough. Takes down Funny Astro. The beat comes in over the top. Proud with the OC as well. Wants to secure this one, keeps the fight going, manages to connect with Quartz mid-slide, but Yubi and TVNT still have something to play for. They're not out of this one just yet, but once again, man, Jasmine is absolutely perfect with the ally bubbles, and I think that may have just saved it. Hold on, though. Diva gets one more kill, and this one really gets into trouble. Tech shock from Zest does take down Yubi. The point flip does come in. A bit of follow-up damage, and this one's getting a little bit scary now. I mean, the cleanup potential is very real for T1 as TVNT is out of mech, has to take the long walk off the map.
Yeah, he's going to jump off the side now. You're going to get above 60% here for T1. T1, though, doesn't have really anything to work with here.
They got something to work with. It's the chutzpah.
I mean,
it's the fearlessness. It's the courage from Zest. He's holding this tight corner. They are not going to let Twisted Minds in for free. They're trying to TP through, but it's being contested. The players are there. They do manage to slip past. Actually, a great sign for TM. They would love to get on the point with this rush. And so far, they've done that first aspect, right? Getting on the point, threatening it. Zest holding it on for now, but he can't really stay into this for long. It's Feud does get cut down. The beat and rush from Twisted Minds should be securing this flashpoint.
Yeah, and it feels like, look, the game is on the line. You would have loved to save one of those ultimates, but you could not have gone to the loser bracket.
I'd call that a mistake. I'd call that a mistake, though, Matt, because that's the place.
I mean, you're right.
Should have been enough. It should have been enough. And so even Twisted Minds are starting to sweat in this series. T1 had put them in that position, but sweat is not good enough. You need to keep fighting for this victory. And now it's Twisted Minds' turn to flip the script. An aggro push into this T1 spawn. Jasmine staying alive, cautiously watching his allies first, keeps them all up, and Zest turns around onto Funny Astro. It cost him his life, but that Lucio kill is impactful. You see those Twisted Minds health bars not so strong, and Jasmine starting to step up. It's Zarya's turn, full energy. Are you going to risk it and try and take down this Zarya? Or will you back down with your tail between your legs? For now, Twisted Minds holding onto the point, but I mean, Jasmine is just cutting through them.
Yeah, but TVNT's got this self-destruct, so you can kind of play here a little bit more aggressively. And Quartz with the overclock, they find Proud again.
Another rail shot from Quartz, this time on to Skewed, and that should be first control. Going to Twisted Minds, Jasmine desperate, does shut down Quartz, does get something into this, but surely the player advantage is just too much to overwhelm. And they're even gonna delay the Zarya a little bit here. They actually know he has grabs, really nice play, no risk to them. And even that extra delay from the boot from Funny Astro, I mean, they are getting every last little second out of these gaps.
Now, you're starting to see they're finding these pickoffs on the Proud early, whether it be Yubi.
Yubi is always finding that crucial spam shot to follow up his team's damage. Very, very important that he's finding those kills.
It feels like for momentum and just kind of confidence sake, right? T1, they need a flip here on this point because Twisted Minds starting to kind of feel themselves a little bit, starting to get in a groove in this matchup.
Reverse sweep in the series, reverse sweep on Flashpoint. It would be a little bit too beautiful. Here comes the wall from Yubi. Stabilizes things. You don't want to step up into that. T1 playing it a little bit slow. Zest forced into the burrow, has to retreat back to his team. But that's a 1-for-1. I think you take a Twisted Minds because the clock running down throughout it. Zest with the tech shock has been fantastic though, and so Simple maybe going to be a bit of a risk to get value here off of this Kusunade rush. Still deploys into the backline, but Quartz already cut down. Tech shock gets one, tries to push them off the TP, not quite there in time, but it's done immense damage here into this fight. TM, do they want to recommit into this without the help of Quartz? You'll be all in here on the flank with a TP, but Funny Astro is there to assist. The beam is full, and T1 now struggling into this fight. Astro rips the beat, wants to lock this one down. Jasmine's grab should be for nothing. Hold on, Proud and Skewed still fighting this. The flip comes in, but Jasmine needs a kill, and he's dropping low. He's out of bubbles, has to dodge the rail. Does manage to slip away, but it's not enough. Yubi is there, and Twisted Minds on the cusp of the double reverse sweep.
Unbelievable. Astro decides to use that beat. TVNT doesn't use the self-destruct, doesn't get a mech back. He ends up kind of just in baby diva form in the grab. And with a sound barrier, keeps him up for just a little bit, puts down some damage. And this would be a brutal collapse for T1 as Twisted Minds, 2 flash points in a row, Jake, that they decide to take. No tectonic shock, no grab to work with. Behind now, no has sound barrier here. And it feels like with Twisted Minds, with this TP maneuvering around the map, they're going to get here first.
It's rare to have a moment more pressured than this for our T1 squad. A lot of young players on this team, especially on the DPS lineup. What can Proud and Zest deliver in this incredibly crucial moment? Yubi and Quartz have only been heating up.
They cannot get first picked.
Only been looking stronger. And Twisted Minds have a dominant position on the point here. T1 taking a rotation wide. They have a rush, but Simple's going to be able to give it right back in TVNT. Burst down Zest with the help of Yubi there. And T1 back with the tail between the legs. TP forward. Twisted Minds want a little bit more out of this.
Dude.
But they're not going to find it.
They are getting unreal value out of just Yubi spamming right clicks with the sim. Like typically you only see the sim ramp up damage close and be able to get up kills. A few times though, whether it be Quartz putting down some damage or TVNT, Yubi with the long range shots on the sim able to finish some players off. They have been so impactful.
Here comes the OC. Proud needs to find something under immense pressure. Once again, Yubi, beautiful symbol, actually reads that slide into the flank. Proud sent packing, no connection whatsoever with that OC. Here comes the rush from Vigilante. Gives them a bit of a corner to fight from. TVNT tanking all the damage. Drops low, has that self-destruct, and here comes Quartz. Takes the wide angle and ends P1. The hopes draining out of them. It's down to the last touch, the last fight, and they might not even get it. Twisted Minds pouring the pressure on. And it's down to what? Just the beat? Nothing else left.
Yeah, you're gonna have Zest here on a little bit of a flank. You're gonna try and get the touch. The swamp there for the res just to get Proud back a little bit faster here, as you are solely reliant on this.
Oh, the move up is perfect from Funny Astro. Gets him out of the ground just long enough for the kill. Skewed the beat only on 3. Will it be enough? Twisted Minds, they're out of ultimates. It's not a free fight for them, but clock is ticking against T1. TM starting to build up. Yubi getting torched, takes down Jasmine.
No
and Twisted
way.
Minds, they're making it happen against all odds. T1 were up 2-0 in this series, 2-0 on Flashpoint, and once again, their hearts broken, set down to the lower bracket. What a victory for Twisted Minds.
What a game. I mean, Twisted Minds looked dead in the water in this series. T1 fantastic 2-0 start. TM battles back, wins 2 maps in a row. And then we get to this final decider map, this game 5. And T1, they look great off the rip. They go up 2-0 in terms of the flashpoint. And then all of a sudden, TM just starts to turn out, man. I mean, that is a brutal loss for T1. But also the type of game potentially, look, it wasn't a clean win for Twisted Minds, right? But they have to gain some confidence being able to make that type of comeback.
Oh, absolutely. You're going to be feeling very good about that. I mean, those first 2 maps, they're already forgotten. They're in the rear view mirror.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, on this final map, right? I mean, once Quartz gets that second perk online, right? The double slide, and suddenly Venture's just not able to stay on top of you, not able to finish off those kills. Funny Astro also, in the marking of Venture, was incredible. Booping up that Venture for just 1 second at this level of play is often enough to kill.
Honestly, that game 5, Yubi goes wild, man. I mean, what, 36 and 6? Obviously bringing some of the sim mobility to the table. Some really sick uses of the sim wall, like you kind of noted towards the end, kind of predicting
like
that
Crowd
kind of slide
couldn't get anything done on the OC. Every time he's walled off, they're just iced out.
And time again, Yubi finding these first picks. Obviously, it's not just sim damage at range, but finding those right clicks, being able to spam these chokes and putting down enough damage, a railgun shot, some damage from Funny Astro, you're able to actually kind of finish these players off, and that's tremendous from Yubi. NTM, we got Danny with Funny Astro to hear his thoughts on that wild game.
That is absolutely correct, Matt. I am here joined by Funny Astro for a quick post-match interview. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're very excited. That was a very close call, and I think that was the first reverse sweep that we had here. Very exciting stuff, and big congratulations on getting the win, Funny Astro. I mean, we were just talking, and you said right before the interview, you were like, "Oh, yeah, that shouldn't have been this close. It should have ended a lot faster." Why do you say that?
I think we just played really sloppy on the first 2 maps, to be honest. It wasn't playing like we usually do. We were playing really scared, and after map 3, we sort of turn up the aggression, start playing how we usually do, and it felt a lot easier. So we should have just done that from map 1.
Okay, so after losing those first 2 maps, like what were the comms like? What did you guys talk about? I know you said it was aggression, but like how did you guys communicate that, and how are you guys able to execute that?
We mostly just talked about the energy we had in our comms. Like everyone sounded pretty down. We weren't giving 100%. We weren't pushing like as hard as we usually do, and we just said we need to amp it up a little bit. We didn't really have a warm-up scrim, so we were just kind of getting warmed up, and then after the first 2 maps, yeah, we found our stride.
All right. I have actually one more question. I want to ask you about your opponents, T1. I mean, they are a great team, but you guys did beat them right now. Funny Astro, what was your thoughts on the team before the match, and has your, opinion changed after?
Before, I didn't think they were that good, to be honest. I was expecting them to maybe get 1 map, but even after, I still kind of think the same. I think we only lost the first 2 maps because we were playing bad. It was nothing they were doing. Like, we just lost to ourselves.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. I'm turning the mic, but there's a reason. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. Great stuff. Thank you so much. That is it for the interview. I'm going to turn this one more time because I really want to. I think you guys, more wins. You guys are rising to the top. Rise above your opponents. That's all I got. Let's take it away. Please help me.